All right. So,
Hockey, Normie.
what?
Hockey. He goes, Normie. Hockey, Normie.
How do you know what I mean? What did you say?
No. He said, okay, so there was a show, Norm Macdonald had a show called Norm, starring Norm Macdonald.
Uh-huh. That's wonderful.
So
good to know.
Yeah. Right. He kept saying that on David Letterman. He's like, he goes, David Letterman's like, so I hear you got a big new show. He goes, yeah, it's called Norm. I play Norm. He goes, audience laughs for like 10 minutes. Anyway, so during one of the scenes, he was working with this actor.
Yeah.
Who was he's a famous actor actually, and you guys might remember him from Dirty Work.
Uh-huh.
He was the father of Artie Lang. He played Artie Lang's father. You know, they were trying to get him the money for the operation. That's what so that actor, his name is Jack Warden, his real name.
Yeah.
And basically, so during one of the scenes, so he was guest starring on the show, Norm. And Norm, he was playing an old, like a washed up hockey player.
Yeah.
All right. And so basically, they were sitting in the stand at a hockey game.
Yeah.
And then.
Dude, your phone sounds muffled. Is there anything that can be fixed?
I'm on the Bluetooth. I'm in the car.
Oh, okay, because it's like very muffled. It's like, it sounds like you're just like talking into some kind of like what do they call that thing? You know, like the can attached to the rope.
So let me see. Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can. All right, hold on. How's that? Any better?
A little bit. Anyway.
All right.
So you were saying about the.
Any better now?
Yes.
Any better now?
Yes. So you were saying about the.
No, so Jack Warden. So Jack Warden couldn't remember his lines, right?
Uh-huh.
Because he's an old guy. He's an experienced actor.
Yeah.
He doesn't bother learning his lines. You know.
Yeah.
So they were in the scene where he was supposed to talk to him about the history of hockey.
Yeah.
Right. Jack Warden, and then he couldn't remember any of that, so he's just like, hockey, Normie. Hockey. Normie. Hockey, Normie. He was hoping that would jog his memory, but he had nothing. he's like, hockey, Normie.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know what you were talking about. I was like, okay.
I know, I just like saying that. It's like, hockey, Normie. Anyway.
I think you're calling me a normie, like a normal, like the normies. Like the woke,
Normie as in Norman.
What the woke like to call us, the normies, the normals.
The normies, yeah.
Yeah, the people who are like believe in like, norm, like man and woman getting married.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff.
Cisgender.
Cisgender,
people.
Normative, heteronormative, whatever, blah.
Heteronormative, cisgender, heteronormative. Yeah.
Dude, like
these
one
are
day,
all brand new terms.
Dude, like one day I'm just sitting there and a person just says that to me, and I'm just like, what? This is like 2000, I don't know, 14, 15. I'm like, what? What?
Right.
I'm like,
right.
Excuse me?
These are brand new terms. And if you don't know them, you're not part of the in crowd.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not, and I'm sucked into this discussion about this whatever, and I'm like, what? When did this? I mean, did I go to was I like in a cryogenic chamber? Dude, I have a feeling that I also was a little bit kind of like, dude, when I was in Israel, I came back to America in 2013. I literally felt like I was like, guys come back from like prison.
Yeah.
And the world has changed, and I'm just like, what is this place? Like, I mean.
Yeah. No, that's exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like I came to visit here a couple of times when I lived in Israel the first time. 2010 to 2013. I came to visit a couple times, but like it was one thing to visit, it's quite another. I was like away for a while. And then when I moved back, I was just like, what the hell happened in this damn place?
Yeah, you could really see, you could feel the difference. Like,
yeah, I felt like I used to go. I remember when I came back and I used to go to like Manhattan. I felt Tuma. Like I felt that stuff. I felt like the darkness was. And I was like, it can't be like that. This president at the time, your mama, and his admin caused such a darkness over the land. It was like mamash, like, like these stories
darkness,
you hear.
Darkness falls across the land.
No,
the midnight hour is close at hand.
Yeah, it was like that. I was like, you heard, it's like stories you heard from like, I was like, this can't be. I'm like, what happened to this place I knew and loved?
I had a couple of conversations. A lot of it when I was doing Uber. There was like a good solid year where I spent a lot of my time doing Uber. Yeah. And so, this is a few years back. Yeah. So, and I have conversations, with people. Some of them, like I even had like conversations with some people, some liberals, who they weren't like, you could still kind of talk to them, like just a little bit. Like some of them had still had a sense of humor. Yeah. Like I was talking to this like lesbian couple that I was driving somewhere. I can't recall where. Yeah. And I was just like, they had a sense of humor. Like I was doing mad like shtick. Yeah. And they got it. You know what I mean? So. And I was talking to some college people. Those people don't have much of a sense of humor.
Oh my God.
The students. Yeah. So this one girl, she was like, it was her and two of her friends. I can't recall if they were both girls or one of them may have been a boy. It's hard to tell nowadays. Yeah, I know. So basically, they were talking. They were asking me something. I can't recall the context, but they said cis male, heteronormative, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. I was like, well, how do you like this? Ashka bam boom. Yeah. Right? Gobbly gobbly gook. Yeah. I can make up words too. Like you can. Other people could do that too. It's not just you that get to make up terms.
You said that to them.
I said that.
And what did they say?
I said beepity boppity boop. You know what I mean? How do you like that? Take that.
What did they say?
And they didn't get it, and I was like, and they're like, what are you saying? I'm like, oh no, that's only for the in crowd. Yeah. you guys aren't woke enough. Yeah. I didn't say woke. I don't recall, but you guys aren't up on the you're not sophisticated enough to understand these terms. These terms really, that's the next generation. And so I was just trying to tell them, I was like, look, the terms that you guys are using are brand new. You understand? You can't talk to people.
You actually said that to them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said this crap, they're teaching you in college. They're making you think that this has been part of the language for, forever. It's brand new. Yeah. They're creating a new language, and they're teaching you as if it should be.
It was invented by that woman that wrote the, what was that book? There's a guy, Ibrahim Kendi X, and then there's this woman that wrote like White Fragility or some shit like that. It was like created by all these like professors with their kakamimi theories. Like somebody's paying them to just sit in a room and come up with theories, and they just came up with these terms.
Yeah, right. So it's funny. It's just they keep moving the goalposts, right? They just keep changing the language and morphing it and moving. So, and then the college kids think that this is the language of the intellectuals that's always been around, and they don't realize they're learning Klingon. Yeah, exactly. They're learning fake words, fake language, fake terms that don't matter to anyone, that no one agreed upon. Yeah. Okay, and they're speaking about it very matter of fact. Yeah. And I was trying to explain to these kids. I was like, if because I think I remember the context now. Yeah. Because one of the girls was telling me how like her aunt or her mother was so like primitive because she didn't understand certain concepts, and I was explaining to them. I was like, your aunt isn't primitive. You're just, you guys are a little bit naive in thinking that these terms and these ideas that you're bringing, have been around for people to learn. Yeah. They haven't. They're brand new. You actually, I wasn't even commenting on whether or not they were stupid concepts. I was just talking about how they were brand new. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
And what do they say to that when you said that to them?
I don't recall because I had so many like conversations with people, during that like almost year I did Uber. Yeah. That it starts to morph into each other. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I can't tell you honestly what it was. I might be making it up if I push it.
It would have been awesome if you recorded them, audios.
Dude, the craziest one, it was with this like I picked up this college girl, and I was, as soon as I saw her, I was like filled with trepidation.
I think you told me.
I saw her face. You heard this? I think I may have said it. Yeah, you know the one who called me a Nazi, right? That one.
Yeah. Well, tell it again for the people who didn't hear, because this was probably early on in our podcast days.
So,
like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Early on.
Yeah. No, you know, I'm starting to remember. This was 2015. This is like when Trump announced his candidacy. And so,
dude, you realize that Trump was like a chemotherapy. He brought out all the crap to the surface. All these people, and they were just going to keep going with their nonsense, and he brought it out, and they're like, and they're out in the open now with their BS, you know. And it's just like to the point where like regular liberals want to stay away from them and distance themselves.
Right. He didn't allow the Sitra Achra to create this like sense of some kind of normal development, that these things are just normal, and they just developed by a healthy process of growth. No, he revealed that no, that's not the case at all. No.
And the Sitra Achra doesn't like when you shine a giant ass like Manuel Noriega's U.S. Marines spotlight on them. And play hard rock, you know, like heavy metal music for like over and over again. It doesn't like that.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
So you were saying about this girl, so she got into your car and then
so basically, right, she got into the car, and I was playing. I had Hannity on. That's when I still thought that Hannity had something to say, you know. And so basically, and usually I turn off the radio because I don't want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody to like, oh, here comes this right-wing guy. I have a right-wing guy driving me, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to deal with that. I just want to have a peaceful whatever. Yeah. Okay. So, but I was spaced out, and she got it, and it wasn't on loud.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was probably a commercial playing, so I've forgotten what. Just get into a headspace.
Yeah.
She got in the car, and then Hannity, you know, that music came on, and she's like, I saw the horrified look on her face. I'm like, now she's gonna say stuff. I have to talk to her.
Yeah.
Now this girl looked like this is Hitler's dream girl.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe her.
Like a blonde.
No, she's a lot of guys' dream girl. She was a beautiful white blonde girl.
Uh-huh.
Okay, like, you know, stunningly beautiful. Okay, but you know, I still like, I don't look at it's just like, I wouldn't even allow myself to be like, oh, this beautiful lady.
Yeah, because it's like, this, you know, she opens her mouth and then it's over.
No, because forget the mouth, the look on the face.
Yeah.
You understand that, like,
yeah.
I want to say the word highfalutin. Is that wrong? I don't know why that feels like it's the right word.
No, it's not wrong.
Like,
it's not wrong.
You know what I mean? There doesn't seem to be any like self-awareness of how we're. Anyway, a certain way they carry themselves. It's for college kids, you know.
Yeah. They think that they own the world.
Yeah, it's like I could see her getting all huffy. You know, she was like sitting there, kind of like basically normal, like the terse face. You could tell that she just has resting bitch face, right? Yeah. So, and all of a sudden, like I see like her eyebrows go up, and she's like, you know what I mean? She's like, oh, like that. She really, her face turned into like, it was a very exaggerated expression on her face, and she turned to the right. Yeah. You know, and she's like shaking her head. I could see her talking to herself. Yeah. And it was almost like she was saying, you know what, I'm gonna say something. I'm like, no, please, no, don't say anything. Just be quiet. I'm gonna get you to where you're going soon. You can get out of my car, get out of my life. Don't say anything, please don't say anything. That was my thought process. And she goes, you know what? I'm sick of you. Something like, I can't remember. It was just like a torrent of just like stuff that she said. It wasn't coherent. It was like she doesn't seem like a person who is experienced with confrontation.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
She felt like it was a confrontation. I wasn't confronting her. Yeah. So she's like, you know, she had to work up the courage, okay, to confront me. Yeah. Her Uber driver, a guy struggling to feed his wife. Okay? It's very important for her to make a stand. That's where she draws the line in the sand.
Yeah.
We can't have our Uber drivers slightly listening to something perhaps that is,
misinformation.
Yeah.
God.
Okay, so so anyway, so I steal so much from Norm Macdonald. It's just sickening. Anyway, so basically,
it's okay. He's up there
least
davening for us.
I hope so.
I think he became Baal Tshuva when he went to Shemaim. You know.
He may have even become Baal Tshuva, kind of in his own way here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So basically, hang on. I have to deal with this Schlagbaum. You know what a Schlagbaum is?
Yes, I know exactly what a Schlagbaum is.
Oh, that is such an esoteric term.
It's the best word ever in Russian.
Oh, okay. The Schlagbaum has opened for me.
The person named Schlagbaum invented that thing. That's why it's called a Schlagbaum. This is the irony of the whole thing.
That would make sense. Would make sense.
Yeah.
So,
would you like to know the irony of the whole equation of the whole Soviet equation? Here's the irony. Usually, the kerfuffle revolves around a lost object. And the lost object represents, retrieving the lost objects, it represents some nominal, not very big amount of money in the grand scheme of things.
yeah.
And the Soviet person who is afraid that the object is going to remain lost forever is willing to rip out the intestines of their loved ones over this lost, nominally valued lost object. The irony of the whole thing is that this object, when found, ends up being in the place where it was supposed to be, meaning where the person who was willing to cut out your intestines for that put it themselves for a reason.
Yeah.
That's the irony of the whole Soviet kerfuffle every single solitary time.
Look, it's a sick society, okay? That all the priorities of the society are off. Everything is off. Okay?
Yeah.
What people worry about is off. The whole thing is about always being able to leverage blame on someone. The whole society is built on it.
By the way, this person is willing to blame you all the time. Never themselves.
Well, yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Every time. Yeah.
I can't. You're like 30 feet away. Can't hear you.
That's because I was 30 feet
okay.
away. I had to go get the hot sauce. You understand?
Oh, speaking of hot sauce, I'm eating schug, like with the rice.
Nice.
It's very hot.
I like spode, but I'm more into, Frank's hot sauce. I'm kind of American like that.
I hear. Oh, Frank is into his own hot sauce. That's surprising.
It's not my hot sauce, but it doesn't surprise me. It's a guy named Frank, right? Usually, guys named Frank, they make the best stuff, produce the best things. You can't think of one dictator named Frank, and Franco doesn't count.
Before I tell you the story, so finish telling me. So you're saying that they.
So, no, the whole society, the only way to rise up in the hierarchy of Soviet society is to be able to leverage other people or have stuff on others.
Yeah.
Okay, because all it takes is the slightest rumor of some kind of anti-communist sentiment, right? Yeah. Everybody's worried about getting picked up by the KGB, right? Yeah. Everybody's ratting on each other. Everybody's informing on each other. Everybody's collecting information about each other. Okay, so that they can use it.
Yeah. No, but what does that have to do with this? This is just like the person's looking for a receipt to.
No, but this kind of it translates. It's not as dramatic within the home.
Yeah.
Right. But this pattern.
Yeah.
Remains true. Everybody is trying to find a reason to be mad at each other or to yell at each other.
Yeah.
To be right.
Yeah.
That's just the pattern.
No, but this isn't a thing to be right. This is a thing. The person is worried that the document will not be found, and the document represents $150. It's like a receipt for something. and it must be that the sky has to fall, and the world must be turned over, like Harsinai was held over somebody's head,
Yeah.
This has to happen in that way.
Look, there's also a ton of frustration within the subconscious.
Yeah.
Pain, confusion.
Yeah.
Okay, bewilderment.
Yeah.
And then people, they use small things like this.
Yeah.
To blow off steam. Any opportunity you can.
Sure.
Okay, to fly off the handle, to blow off some steam, to use a punching bag.
I notice. Yeah.
That's what everybody does to each other.
I know.
Not just in the Soviet, but it's epidemic. It's epidemic in Soviet.
It's something that I never I don't know. It's just no matter how, I guess, frustrating or difficult life got for me, it's something I never was. I mean, if I ever did that, it was when big stuff happened.
Negative reinforcement, like whoever is responsible for the problem, or whoever can be blamed for the problem, all the blame goes on them.
Yeah.
People are. It's a psychological issue that is irrational.
Yeah.
But people are looking to blame others and avoid blame.
Yeah.
Usually because they want to avoid blame, so the best way to do it is to blame others.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only a blame others, it's almost like a absolution of responsibility as well, meaning not blame, but like someone's life sucks, right? Let's say a person says, this aspect of my life sucks, or my life sucks, and it's all because of so-and-so. And what I notice is that in the Russian community, it's always it's never you. It's like I'm talking to the person and I go, it's never you. It's always someone else. It's never you.
I could have been doing great things if only.
Yeah, if only this person had it. And when we came to America, if only they didn't listen to them over here, and we went over there, and this one did this to me, and it's been 40 fucking years, and you're still holding on to that shit.
Yeah, that's like
it's never you.
It's like Jackie Mason when I was saying he goes every Jew as he's talking about in context of Jews. It's really everybody. He's like every Jew. They could have they could have bought that building over there, right?
Yeah.
It was but I was talked out of it.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
And then you say, why don't you buy something new? No, it's not the right time.
Yeah, it's not the right time. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Dude, I have a friend, Jewish guy, but he's not Russian, whatever. Do you know, he's like, I had that stock in 1992. Can you imagine? He's like, some guy came to me with a Bitcoin in 2000 and whatever. And I was like, what is this? What am I going to do? Buy a pizza with it? Can you imagine I had this many Bitcoin at that time and I sold and that this, what it would be today? Israeli guy. Dude, that actually it's funny. There was a guy in my yeshiva chasing me around because he knew I had a blog, my Israel blog. He wanted me to put a Bitcoin acceptance payment widget. This is 2012. This is when the whole Mt. Gox thing happened. The exchange that got hacked in 2011. So right after that,
I have no idea what you're talking
about.
There
was a Bitcoin exchange in 2011 called Mt. Gox. GOX. It was a famous story, and it got hacked. Whatever. And this is when Bitcoin was I guess it was 100 or something, or 50. It was in the low, it was in the tens. In the 2 digits prices. And I'm telling the guy, and a very smart guy in my yeshiva, I'm like, dude, what am I going to do with this? Somebody's going to pay me in Bitcoin? For what? What am I going to do? Buy a pizza? I saw it as currency, I didn't understand. I was like, legal tender, I was thinking in those terms. I didn't understand that it's like a stock. It's like buying a stock, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, people deal in currency exchange, right?
Yeah.
Buy and sell currency. I actually knew a kid who did that for a living.
Yeah? No, I know a few people. Yeah, they did automated, they created robots and stuff and whatever to trade for them. But, I was just like, well, then I'm thinking to myself, somebody would have made I remember there was a guy who just gave me like a $500 donation, like actual cash, through my PayPal, right? Through like the website. So I'm thinking to myself, that if they, let's say Bitcoin was like $50 a Bitcoin, and they would have given me 10 Bitcoin. Dude, you know what 10 Bitcoin is?
Yeah, 10. What is it? Like, that's
$300,000. $400,000 today. I mean, listen, I probably would have sold that thing at like 10K at the first rally that they had 3 years ago. It's whatever, man. But it's just funny, man. It's just funny to me, like people's.
I think when it comes down to it, right? Yeah. If you got dudes who got like FU money, like in truckloads, right?
Yeah.
They can put money on Bitcoin and forget about it.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard for the people who don't have that and they got to use it. You know?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
So what was I gonna say? You were talking about something else, and I forgot what I wanted to say to that.
We were going to talk about.
We're going to talk about Whoopi.
We're talking about Whoopi.
So I just sent you, by the way, speaking of white people, I sent you a screenshot. You noticed what the guy wrote on my comment section, and this is something I was trying to convey to you. I just didn't have kind of the language mechanics to explain that to you.
Yeah, I actually read this comment.
I just want to read this for the audience. Jews.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. I just feel like I need to preempt this. Okay.
Okay.
This comment is like the person didn't listen to my. Whenever I talked, it's like they put mute.
I understand.
And they only listen to you talking.
No. This person doesn't listen to our thing. He listens to my rogues, because I've seen him before. He's a Persian guy.
All right.
From Los Angeles.
Oh right. This is a different video. Right.
Yeah. Judas Fly, whatever. So this was what I was essentially saying yesterday, and I want to read this for the audience. Jews and Semites are Caucasian, and I was agreeing with you, but they are not white. Europeans are white. Ashkenazim, and then he said Ashkenazim are not Khazars, which is what I said yesterday as well.
We're not Khazars. I know that.
But that is what I wanted to say. Not except for that last thing, which whatever is nothing to do. That's what I wanted to say. We are Caucasian, yes. But we are not white. By white, I mean European peoples, like Slovak, Slavyani, in Russian we say Slavyani, Slovak, Croatian, German, Gaul.
Russians, I'm not sure, Russians are less white than in reality, if you want to be real.
Yes, like, they're more Tatar.
By pedigree.
Yeah.
They are less white than Jews are.
I know, they are like Tatar and Scythian and all this kind of stuff.
There's a ton of Asian.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's a separate conversation. But I'm talking about like Europe by and large. The Jewish people are not European white people. That is all I wanted. The point I wanted to make. So when Whoopi Goldberg was saying what she was saying, she was basically saying that Jews are European whites and Germans are European whites, and it was European whites versus European whites. That is what she was saying.
Right. I wanted to comment. That's what I actually originally wanted to comment on.
Yeah.
But now you open up a can of worms.
Okay.
And it's going to be a small can of worms, because this is all I want to say.
Okay.
You were saying that Jews are not white Europeans.
Yes.
We are white, but we're not Europeans. I agree.
We're Caucasian, but we're not white.
Okay, to me, white and Caucasian is the same. You want to make that distinction?
I want to make the distinction because, again, I'm not... Dude, when I just... You probably know this, and I want to say this for the audience. Very simple. There's a reason, and they were right when they did this. The Soviet Union, in our passport, wrote on... They had a nationality designation. So if you were Kazakh, Georgian, Armenian, Tajiki...
I know, they put Jew. I like that.
No, they put Ivrei. Yes, Jew. Ivrei. Okay?
That's what
where was I going with this? I don't even know. Oh, so
that's even better than
so in the language of, like, in the Russian language, when we would talk amongst each other, we would say, "Она русская или она еврейка? Is she a Russian or is she a Jew?"
Right.
Russian means goy. So in America, a Russian could be a Russian Jew, could be... nobody makes that distinction. Like, Americans are like, oh, you're a Russian, right?
Yeah.
So in the former Soviet Union, Ruski, Ukrainец, Belarus, Tajik, Shmajik, whatever, is a goy. is a non-Jew, is a nation.
Okay, but hold on. In the Middle East, the Arabs are goyim too.
Correct. But people don't walk around going, I mean, they say is a Jew or an Arab or is an Israeli, because they have this whole Israeli-Arab citizenship civic bullshit.
Okay, look, you're talking about like regional like terms. I'm talking about reality.
No, but this is but the Soviets had reality correct.
I know, no,
that's what I'm saying.
I like the fact that like Jew like in Russian would be Yehudie, right?
Yeah.
But they said Ivriye, which means Hebrew.
Which means Ivri, which means the other. Which is
no. They're not thinking of it like that.
I know. I'm just saying it's good that they did that. I like
the fact that they have the word Hebrew associated. That's all I'm saying.
Correct. And not only that, the fact that they reminded us who, even though we didn't have no idea, clue what it meant, at least they reminded us who we are just on a very, very basic level. Very primitive level.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing.
I really like that. I was surprised.
Yeah. Which makes me wonder now why what happened with many of the Russian Jews who came to America and decided that they're going to...
It became inconvenient politically, so it changed.
Not only politically, they decided that, like these people in Brooklyn, they don't care about the fact that they're Jewish. They see... they don't understand that there is basically a continuity between them and who they call Pesate, the borough park.
Yeah, they don't see it. They don't see it.
And they consider themselves more Russian...
The only way you could see it is if they had a photograph of their great grandfather.
Correct.
That's it. Only those people.
But even then, most of these people just don't care. They have Jewish last names. Maybe they care somewhat peripherally, kind of, sort of, about Israel when you show them something about the IDF, which they resonate with because they like guns and stuff. And
they like strength.
They like strength, toughness, and guns and cool stuff like that, and whatever. And maybe the girls like Israeli army guys, which is why Rage takes people on trips, and whatever, lets them go to bars. But other than that, it's like they just by and large forgot who they are, and they just went right into hey, I'm gonna go into a store in Brighton and buy pork kolbasa. And I'm going to buy Sala, and I'm just going to continue my life as it was in the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
I just find that very, very interesting. Even though the Soviet Union told them that they're Jewish, so it's like...
No, but listen.
Who cares?
Look, there's a general rule. People, they don't want to...
They don't want to change.
They just want to be who... They want to be... They want to live like they've lived. They want to just be what they're comfortable with,
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So you have an entire population of Tinuk Shenishba, okay?
Yeah.
That's a new culture.
Yeah.
All right? So Tinuk Shenishba is a term in Jewish law. Tinuk means a baby, and Shenishba means of captivity.
Yeah.
Okay? So we yesterday I brought up the idea of when the pioneers, the people who were going out and settle the West.
Dude, I can't hear you so well. It's a little quiet.
How's that?
It's a little bit better. Okay.
Okay, so the people who were in the United States in the mid to late 1800s, they were going to colonize or to inhabit the western regions of the United States, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times they would have conflicts with Native American Indians, and their children would be captured, and sometimes they'd grow up in the tribal with the Indians, and they were essentially culturally Indians, and they couldn't, come back to their family and live like white Europeans. They just couldn't. So when it comes to the Jews, especially Russian Jews, now you have an entire population that's like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Orthodox Jewish community represents the parents, right? That are trying to, the kids came back home, and now they don't know what to do with these kids.
Yeah.
Because they want the kids back, but the kids are threatening their whole way of life.
Yeah.
They're turning their society into a powwow.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? It's not nothing wrong with the powwow, but
Yeah.
it's not. It's alien to white European.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the story of the Jews at this point in history.
You know what's crazy to me though? When I noticed when we came to America, my father, the minute that we landed, came to Brooklyn, for example, and he saw Jewish things. Like he saw somebody's doing holidays, some rabbis are doing this, some people are doing this. And he said that I'll be damned if I don't participate in this because, well, I think he had a very, very unique perspective.
Your dad's an anomaly.
It's not that he's no, he's not an anomaly. It's just that my grandfather's from Berdichev, his father. My grandfather did stuff in the house. He never told them what my dad and his brothers what he's doing. He did like seders. Imagine somebody's doing a seder, and he tells you take this and eat this and go here and go there and say this. He told my father, go put this glass, by the door. Open the door and put it by the mantle. And my father used to go, who's it for? He goes, it's for him. This is Pesach, Eliyahu Navi. He goes, who's him? He's like, don't worry about it. He's like, the less you know, the better. Imagine you did that like every year for like a few years. So my father had that all these physical mechanics imprinted in his head. And then he came to America and he saw people doing it, and he understood the reason why they're doing it. For what is this? Eliyahu Navi, Pesach, all this stuff. And my father was like, well, okay, now that I'm in America, now that I'm free to do this, I'll be damned if I at least don't try to learn what it's about. He was not going to, there's a lot of opportunities he passed up in many facets in life. That was not one of, not going to be one that he would pass up. It's not, again, he's not an anomaly. It's just that he, there were certain things that he saw as a kid from his father, who just, did whatever he could under the guise of like, maybe getting fired from his job or something like that. Yeah, but I noticed like most people just didn't care. Most people just did not, or if they did care, a lot of it was like shtick to them, cultural shtick.
Yeah.
That's how they saw it, and I don't know. I consider myself lucky, just at least that I got certain, a certain ideological spiel. Let's put it that way. Until I was like, 29. I told you about this, the whole thing with the Matrix and how we live in a virtual world. I knew these ideas since I'm like 14, 15 years old. Before I even knew anything about Torah or mitzvot, I knew about this idea. Like, that's crazy, right? Like, my father was giving over like stuff like, I used to ask my father when I was like 15, I was like, so can you please reconcile evolution, right? And he goes to me very simply. He goes, Greg, he's like, MS-DOS. Yes. What came after MS-DOS? Windows 3.1. Okay. What came after Windows 3.1? Windows 95. Okay. What came after? It's like, this is already, we're going. Windows 98, Windows 99, 2000. He's like, so would you say that Windows evolved? Yes. Did Windows evolve on its own? No. Is there a creator, programmer? Yes. So who helped Windows evolve? The programmer. So now my next question was, if there's a God, who created God? And his answer was, I go, where did God come from? His answer was, Greg, does the computer ask, first of all, does the computer acknowledge its creator or the person who built it? I said, as far as we know, no. And he said, okay, hypothetical question. If the computer acknowledged us, would the computer ask who made us? I said, no. So then he goes, so why are you asking? You understand the...
I get.
You understand the dead end. To peak.
No, I see. I see that. I see that. But I mean, the computer would ask anyway.
The computer will ask who created its creator?
Right. You know why? Because the computer can only operate within the parameters of its system.
Just like us.
Which means, well, we're a little bit different. That's what I wanted to.
We are different, but as far as for the purposes of that answer, my father, he told me kind of the same thing, but no, he said the only difference between us and a computer, as far as we know, is this whole consciousness / sentience / free will thing.
So I'd like to put forth something.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The fact that we are able to understand this idea, which is the following. Everything that God, hang on. It's okay, continue. Go ahead. My wife's turning on the dryer. It's a noisy process to begin, but it's fine now. Okay. All right. So here's what we could say, like the question, who created the creator?
Yeah.
So we can understand, or we can talk about not understanding. It depends how you say it. Like, for instance, you could say, Greg, you cannot apply that question to the creator, because the creator created creating. Yeah. He also created the idea of something comes from something else. Yeah. None of our pattern of thinking applies to the creator at all. He created it entirely, which means he's entirely beyond it. Yeah. That's, I mean, the fact that we can have this conversation and talk and say what we just said and understand it shows us that we have, that the essence of us is within the creator himself. Yeah. Nothing that doesn't have its root in the essence of the creator can have this discussion. Yeah, correct. So wait, so you're saying that even computers can discuss amongst themselves that question eventually? Given that depends on God, that depends on God's decision. Is God going to allow computers to reach that level? Is God going to bond a godly consciousness with a million, a super hyper sophisticated computer in a billion years from now? So here's my question. It would seem that there are some people that are trying to make that happen, even though they don't call it godly consciousness. They just want to give it sentience, or they think that either they want to give computer sentience, or they want to use us, like this Yuval psycho. They want to use us as a vehicle to fuse us with nanobots or whatever. Okay, okay, perfect. Here's what I wanted. I'm so happy. Okay, my question is it going to be meaning you're saying that if Hashem does that on his own, then it's, so to speak, fine. But if human beings force the issue or force the hand, no, that's not really. It's a problem. Human beings can't force anything. No, not force, but you know what I mean. Like if it's our zrizas of going ahead again, running ahead of the, ahead of the locomotive, then it's going to be a dangerous result. I don't know if it's going to be a dangerous result. It's not going to be successful, is what I'm saying. Yeah. They can't do it. So here's something very interesting that I saw a while ago. Mm-hmm. So I was sort of kind of a fan of Ray Kurzweil. Yeah. Like when I discovered, I was listening to his lectures, mm-hmm. because he would say stuff like, he was a lot like me, in the sense that his whole purpose, everything that he's doing, is only because his father died. Well. And he thinks that death is a disease, it's a curse that needs to be wiped out entirely, and that people should never die because any person that dies is such a valuable, and it's gone forever, right? Yeah. And it's just too great a loss. Yeah. Okay, so in that sense, I agree with him. Yeah. Okay. Now, his way of going about making that happen is a little bit off.
Yeah,
it's a lot off. Okay, but it's not. But it I don't know how he is now. I'm talking about Ray Kurzweil in 2015 and before.
Yeah,
I think he got weird
really?
when he joined Google. When he started working for Google, he got weird. All right, he looked weird. He got weird. It looked like there was some kind of transformation that occurred.
I think it's called. You go to work for the Citra. Dude, you know what's funny? I have friends who are like, I mean, just to veer off for a second. I have friends who I notice on LinkedIn have gotten jobs at some of these like what I call Erev companies or Citraco companies.
Yeah.
And I almost want to write to them. I'm like, you realize what you're doing, right? But they're not gonna understand. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
So pre 2015, Ray Kurzweil, I believe, could have been salvaged.
Yeah.
Okay. So and that represents most of the times that he was right. Meaning he's famous for having the best record about the exponential development of technology and stuff like that. So
he was the one that came up with the whole singularity thing, right? Even though singularity just to me means
he's the one who coined or borrowed the term singularity from physics and applied it to this like messianic moment that we can't.
I was gonna say, to me, all it ever meant was just we're approaching Mashiach. That's it.
Yeah. So
we're in a collision course with Mashiach.
Right. So what Ray Kurzweil probably doesn't understand is that he's actually describing the way Olam Haba is described.
Yeah.
He's describing the singularity.
Can I say? Do you think I saw that video of him, Rabbi Steinsaltz? Do you think Rabbi Steinsaltz may have given him kind of some insights into that?
Not consciously. Okay. I think that Ray Kurzweil, he was very guarded and very threatened by Rabbi Steinsaltz.
Really?
Okay. Yes. He felt like something was off. He felt like he was next to danger.
Danger, as in like
Kurzweil.
As in like Steinsaltz can say something to completely obliterate.
Right. He didn't know. Like when it comes to assessing people. Yeah. Right. Kurzweil felt like he was in deep water.
Yeah.
You could tell his uncomfort. Like he was not used to being around a person that made him feel that way. Usually he's the guy making people feel that way.
Dude, I saw the same thing, by the way, when I saw Dawkins being interviewed by Jonathan Sachs. It was a very similar thing.
Yeah, they sense something beyond themselves there, and they don't like it.
They sense that it's kind of like, again, it's like you said, the young fool thing, but at the same time, they can't say young fool. They can sense that the person...
You mean the rabbis can't say young fool, but they're the ones who would say it.
Or they can't say young fool to the rabbi, meaning the rabbi knows... They know that the rabbi knows something that's beyond.
Right. Basically, when they're not the most clever person in the room, when they're sitting next to... They're actually... They feel their...
Inferiority.
They feel their inferiority.
Yeah.
They feel it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
And they don't know what to make of it.
Yeah.
You could see that on Kurzweil's face.
Yeah.
And Rabbi Steinsaltz was very playful with him.
I know. He was very nice. He was like joking and this.
He made a joke out of him, basically.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So
it's almost like a wizard sitting there, and the wizard, you ever watch like these things where it's like the wizard's manipulating. He has like a ball or something, and the ball is just kind of flying up in the air, and the wizard's just making it suspended in the air. And then this like guy who's been trying to like dick around with like experiments in his study,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the wizard just comes out, and just like, and the guy's just like, I'm a dumbass.
It's interesting. Michio Kaku, he was describing this kind of like this proverb sort of, right? Which is, I think a lot of cultures used it, but it's like the idea of, so the scientists and the physicists, right? are climbing the mountain, when they get to the top, they'll find the Kabbalists already sitting there.
Yeah.
They were born there.
Yeah.
Right? So, and they had to go through this entire journey just to get to the starting point.
Yeah.
So, literally, Michio Kaku, he said the Zohar. He mentioned it.
That's
anyway,
so cool.
Yeah. So, what I was going to say that remember Men in Black?
Yeah.
Remember the first one when Tommy Lee Jones was recruiting Will Smith?
Yeah.
And Will Smith, he was like being all like whatever Will Smithy.
Yeah.
And Tommy Lee Jones was like, he's like, good, cute kid, He's like, look at this little guy. Look at he's trying to be tough, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he saw potential in him, right? And and then when he tried to gently expose him to the world, to a larger world, right? He had to make sure he's going to be gentle so he doesn't freak out, right? The worm guys, that was the first aliens that he saw, right?
Yeah.
He goes, like, hey, fellas, he just put him at ease.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's kind of like that. It reminded me of something like that.
Yeah.
But here's the original reason why I got into Kurzweil, because his idea is about recreating the human brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Artificially, AI, like to really mimic the neuronal structure of the brain. Okay, he feels that once they
isn't that what what's his name wants to do also with Neuralink, or not something else? That's different.
No, I mean, all these guys are kind of on it, but Ray Kurzweil, he like wrote the books. He really is like he's like the high priest of this idea. Yeah. Okay, other people are working on it, and but he's like he's the philosopher leader of this whole kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically, or was, I don't know. So his idea was to once we can recreate the brain, we can match the brain in its neuroplasticity, but artificial, right? Yeah. That means you can infuse it with the consciousness. Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of his way of living forever. Like we can create AI, download our consciousness into it, and then kind of live forever. But no, it's more complex than that. His idea was actually, it was smarter than that. So the idea is like this. You have an old car, an antique, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say you got an antique, whatever, Shelby GT, right? Mm-hmm. And you want to maintain it. You want to make sure that it looks as good as the day it was bought, even better. Okay, every single day, never. So that means you'd have to, like, periodically change parts, like replace them, right? Yeah. And after a certain amount of time, you'd end up like with all the original parts are long gone and new parts, but the car is the same, right? Yeah. Interesting, it. Yeah. That's the spirit of the car, right? You never detached from the soul of the car.
That's crazy.
Okay, and he's right.
So
right.
How is that different from? So listen. How's it different from?
Hold on. So the idea is that which made sense to me at the time, and it's still some kind of it makes sense to me. Although I've heard better scenarios where the idea is like how does a person live forever? Yeah. Well, let's say it's already started. So there are people who have Parkinson's, right? Yeah. And so a part of their brain isn't working, and they've already created replacement parts for that part of the brain, which people have in their mind. And you ask them, do you feel that you have a microchip in your brain? They're like, no, it works seamlessly with the rest of it. Yeah. So once over time, gradually you change microchip by microchip, right? Yeah. You're replacing the old parts for new parts that work just as well, right? Yeah. Okay? And you're there present, and it's a very gradual process. Mm-hmm. So what happens if the body that you have is entirely synthetic at some point? Is that not you anymore? No, your consciousness has stuck with it, right? Yeah. Okay. So that kind of made sense to me at a time when when I had less knowledge about how the soul bonds to the body. Yeah. Okay? Now we do know that we're going to have a different body after the resurrection of the dead. Yeah. Okay? It's going to be of entirely different nature. Yeah. And so I thought, could it be like stuff that Ray Kurzweil was talking about? Could that be part of it? I thought it was a possibility at the time, but now the more I learned, I realized Ray Kurzweil is
dude, you know what?
He's pre-industrial revolution in his thinking.
Dude, you want to know the funniest thing? I had the same theory about Elon Musk. Why? Because Elon Musk is simultaneously building two things. I think I told you this. One thing is building Neuralink, which could basically be the whole, TSMA sim thing where he's saving people's consciousness. That's what he's trying to do. The other thing that he's building is the Boring Company, which is a bunch of tunnels. You see boring, yeah. You see where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah. He wants
when you have
he wants to recreate civilization underground in Mars and other places.
No, but the whole thing of, again, like you said, Hashem uses these people and they don't know they're being used.
Oh, you mean like
I'm talking about TSMA.
The thing about the rolling,
the boring under the ground.
No, no, because what Greg is talking about is that it says the part of the resurrection of the dead is that. Now, this is likely more of a midrashic statement than a literal one. But it says the body will roll, the dead bodies will roll from where they are in the world, right? Let's say if there's a Jew who died in Siberia, right? So his body is there in Siberia, but he has to be resurrected. So I think he's supposed to be resurrected in Israel. How's he going to get there? That there's going to be a tunnel in which he will. So that is. There you go. I would wager that that's a midrashic statement.
I hear that, but midrashic statements can become reality, I guess.
So if I had to picture that as a literal statement, I would picture all the parts, all the raw material, right? That the body was made out of, that decomposed and it's spread out, by water, by rains, by drainage, by bacteria, by animals eating, all that kind of stuff. It could be it could be like spread out all over the entire world.
For sure.
And if aliens came to get a soil sample, it could be somewhere.
It could be somewhere around those where you said that.
Yeah. So the point is that the parts themselves, right? Like the pieces, like all the individual particles are rolling through the ground. That makes more sense.
Okay. So now
and then coming together.
So here's my question. So what you just described about Kurzweil and his whole thing, how is that different?
I never got to my intended point.
Okay. But I just want to ask, on a mechanical level, how is that different from what this Yuval psycho is saying, which is basically we can hack people and, all this kind of stuff.
So, right. Mechanically it's different, but in the idea, it's not that different.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what it is? There is a major difference that I'm seeing right now.
Okay.
You see, when the way your body is right now, your genetics, the way God had created you, the way He programmed you, right? So your consciousness, the way that you are, who you are, and the way that you are being expressed in this physical world, is based on that. You understand? Is on the way that He programmed you. So that's you. Okay. Now, when you are being reprogrammed by someone else, right? You're not being allowed to be you anymore. Now, replacing parts, that's still you doing that. To me, that's more than a subtle than a nuance.
Yeah.
But that's not actually where I wanted to go. So I wanted to talk about Roger Penrose and this guy Hammersmith.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you Google Roger Penrose and Hammersmith? Just Penrose and Hammersmith and see what it says.
I think you mentioned this before.
I may have.
Yeah, I remember the British mathematician. Oh, this guy. I know this guy. He's 90. He's still alive. Oh, we shouldn't talk about him then.
No, I mean, let's just talk about some of the... He's working together with this guy, Dr. Hammersmith. Stuart. I think his name's Stuart Hammersmith.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hammeroff, not.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hamarov.
Hamarov. Oh, I know about Hamarov. I heard about Hamarov. Okay.
Bald guy with a beard, right? He's a professor of anesthesiology.
Yes, because a friend of mine actually who listens to Rabbi Kessin, he himself is a not neuroscientist, but like a neural something scientist. He mentioned Hamarov.
Yeah. Okay, so here's their controversial theory that they were been working on together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So Penrose is a famous mathematician and physicist. Okay, quantum. He's quantum physics. Okay, so I'm gonna just see if the Wikipedia is useful here. So orchestrated objective reduction. Everything I'm reading right now is the enemy of Kurzweil and his buddies, right? Mm-hmm. In their whole crew that thinks that if you can create artificial neurons and wire them in a similar way to match the brain, then you've recreated the human mind and consciousness. Yeah. Not so fast. They are vastly underestimating what the brain is and its complexity. Yeah. Okay? That's why they're not going to succeed.
I'm venturing a guess that this Hamarov, now that I know about his stuff, I would venture a guess that he did not take the smacks.
I would hope not.
Because he would not.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah. No,
listen, let me read this.
Meaning out of ideology, he wouldn't take it.
Right. I mean, he should be able to be conscious of what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
He should be one of those guys because of the following.
Yeah.
Orchestrated objective reduction. Yeah. OR is a controversial hypothesis that postulates that consciousness originates at the quantum level inside neurons. Which, by the way, that's not a correct. There's no quantum level inside neurons. Yeah. So just put that to the side. Yeah. Rather than which is different than the conventional view that consciousness is a product of connections between neurons, which is what Ray Kurzweil thinks. Yeah. Okay? So he's too primitive. Kurzweil is too primitive in his view of the mind and consciousness. Okay. Yeah. So the mechanism is held to be a quantum process called objective reduction that is orchestrated, and remember this term right now, by cellular structures called microtubules. Microtubules are the antenna of the consciousness. Yeah. It is proposed that the theory may answer the hard problem of consciousness, which is a technical term, the hard problem of consciousness, and provide a mechanism for free will. The hypothesis was first put forth in the early 1990s by Nobel laureate for physics Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist and psychologist Stuart Hameroff. Yeah. Okay. The hypothesis combines approaches from molecular biology, neuroscience, pharmacology, philosophy, quantum information theory, and quantum gravity. Mm-hmm. By the way, Hameroff is involved in this because he's a anesthesiologist and a professor of anesthesiology. Anesthesiology obviously has a lot to do with consciousness, right? Because it's all about controlling it. Okay. Yeah. Now, while the mainstream theories assert that consciousness emerges as the complexity of the computations performed by cerebral neurons, meaning, the emergent theory that you put a bunch of schmutz together and then in a complicated way, and that produces consciousness rather than the other way around.
By the way, real quick, I just looked at the woman who works for Hameroff. She's a Jewish lady. He's obviously Jewish.
What? Hameroff is Jewish?
I mean,
I don't think so.
Did you see that? Did you see the guy?
Okay, so he has a beard. Bikers have beards too. So
I don't know, not just a beard. Okay, anyway, he has a Jewish lady working for him, Arlene Behar Montefiore. She posted Science of Consciousness, April 18th until the 23rd, 2022. Hybrid format, live and remote. Los Ventana Canyon Resort, Tucson, Arizona. Keynote session, Psychedelics, Robin Carhart Harris, UC San Francisco. Reality Plus, David Chalmers, NYU. Astrobiology and Astroconsciousness, Avi Loeb, Harvard University.
Obviously Avi Loeb. He's the head of the astronomy department at Harvard, and he's the guy who launched the Galileo project.
Gotcha.
To search for UFOs.
Check this out: plenary, concurrent workshops, art tech, film conference links, call for abstract, press release. Consciousness, Arizona.edu. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is just the Center for They have a Center for Consciousness. Here, the Science of Consciousness, April 18th to the 22nd. It's a conference. Yeah, it takes place in Tucson every 2 years. Alternating conferences everywhere. In 2020, the conference was online. April 18th to the 22nd, we were planning a hybrid with both live and in-person, remote online presentation, audio, and live stream. The live sessions and remote headquarters will be at Lowe's Ventana Canyon Resort. Maybe I'll go to this. Is this during Pesach? I hope not. Have been held in Tucson since 1994. So who's going to be at this? Monday, April 18th. Workshops. Check this out. Dual aspect thinking.
I think Hammeroff might be Jewish. Yeah. I think.
Testing Orc. This is Hammeroff's thing. Brain ultrasound, plants and consciousness, quantum mechanics, embedded intelligence, consciousness and non-locality. Maybe I'll take my dad to this if it's on a Pesach.
Okay. Wait. Stop right there.
What?
I'm sorry, because we're talking about too much. But consciousness and non-locality, that's the main theme of their theory. Can I just get back to that?
I just want to read the rest of this. I just want to see to tell you who's going to be at this thing. They'll have names of people.
Okay.
Giancarlo, sleep, wakefulness, and anesthesia. Giancarlo Vanini, University of Michigan. So then, because they're going to be talking about like if what people experience, like NDEs, is it because of the anesthesia, or is it actually something real?
Dude, if they don't have Sam Parnia there, then something is
hold on.
wrong.
Matthew Larkham, Humboldt University. Alex Progt, UPenn. Brain and Consciousness, Christoph Koch, Allen Institute. Brain Connectivity, Jean-Remy King, I don't know what this is, CNRS, Ziru Huang, University of Michigan, Anirban Bandiopadhyay, whatever, and NIMS. Altered states of consciousness, Emma Hewells, University of Michigan, Charlotte Marshall, University of Liège, Elizabeth Krasnov, CIHS. Psychedelics, Robin Carhart Harris. Psychedelic mechanisms, George Mashur, University of Michigan. What is this, Michigan? Alex C. Kwan, Yale University. Katrin Preller, University of Zurich, Yale University. /Yale. Origins of Life, Dante Lorette, Arizona. Sarah Walker, Steen Rasmussen. Astrobiology and Astral Consciousness, Avi Loeb. Daniel Sheehan, and then you get Time and Consciousness. Daniel Sheehan, University of San Diego. Paul Davies, Arizona State. Sir Roger Penrose, Oxford.
Daniel Sheehan is a lawyer who's involved in the UFO.
Really? University of San Diego. Then you get theories of consciousness. B.U. J. Hay, NYU Langone Medical. Yuri B. Salman, University of Wisconsin. Lucia Maloney, Max Planck Institute. Reality Plus, David Chalmers, NYU. And then Quantum Neuroscience, Harmut Nevin, Google Quantum AI. Co-sponsored by University of Michigan. That's why they have all these Michigan people there. I want to go to this, or at least be in the virtual thingy. But
yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be, you can have some kind of virtual access to it. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah. But I would like to go to Tucson.
So
could
we,
anyway.
I just wanted to actually talk about what they believe. So it says, while mainstream theories assert that consciousness emerges as a property of a bunch of complicated crap, coming together in a sophisticated way, right? Which is what materialists believe about life. While mainstream theories assert that this is the way it's actually written. When mainstream theories assert that consciousness emerges as the complexity of the computations performed by cerebral neurons increases, orchestrated objective reduction posits that consciousness is based on non-computable quantum processing, performed by qubits formed collectively on cellular microtubules, a process significantly amplified in the neurons. So what that really means is that's a very slick way of saying that the microtubules are essentially acting like little quantum antennae that receive the consciousness, which is non-local. That's what it's going to come and say, okay? Yeah. So they're really going to hide that in the language, by the way. Right? So the qubits, these qubits are based on oscillating dipoles forming superposed resonance rings. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing some of this correctly, but superposed resonance rings in helical pathways throughout lattices of microtubules. And the oscillations are either electric due to charge separation from something called London forces, or magnetic due to electron spin, and possibly also due to nuclear spins that can remain isolated for longer periods. Okay. Now, this occurs in gigahertz, megahertz, or kilohertz frequency ranges. Orchestration refers. Orchestration that's part of the title of this theory, right? Orchestrated objective reduction. So orchestration refers to the hypothetical process by which connective proteins, such as microtubule-associated proteins, MAPs, influence or orchestrate qubit state reduction by modifying the space-time separation of their superimposed states. The latter is based on Penrose's objective collapse theory for interpreting quantum mechanics, which postulates the existence of an objective threshold governing the collapse of quantum states. Yeah. That means an observer, okay? Yeah. So the observer effect, I'm sure you guys heard of the double slit one. Okay, so related to the difference of the space-time curvature of these states in the universe's fine scale structure. Okay, so orchestrated objective reduction has been criticized from its inception by mathematicians, philosophers, and scientists. The criticism concentrated on three issues: Penrose's interpretation of Gödel's theorem, Penrose's abductive reasoning, linking non-computability to quantum events, and the brain's unsuitability to host the quantum phenomenon required by the theory, since it is considered too warm, wet, and noisy to avoid decoherence. That's another way of saying the brain is too much of a messy mush to be able to host consciousness, to be able to produce consciousness. Yeah. Okay? Do you see how they hide everything important in the language? Yeah. Сволочи, блядь. Yeah. Seriously, you mach shemo. Yeah. Criticism. Okay. Okay, so decoherence in living organisms. In 2000, Max Tegmark claimed that any quantum coherent system in the brain would undergo effective Wayne function collapse due to environmental interaction long before it could influence neural processes. Okay. Let me... actually, hold on. There's a neuroscience. Okay, hold on. Hameroff frequently writes, quote, "A typical brain neuron has roughly 10 to the 7 tubulins." 10 to the 7. That's one neuron. Okay? And can you imagine how much complexity there is in one neuron? It's far more than Ray Kurzweil could imagine. You're not going to recreate a Kurzweil, okay? Yeah. So yet this is Hameroff's own invention. Oh, here we go. Which should not be attributed to you and Boss. You and Boss were the... Okay, whatever. Don't worry about you and Boss. Hameroff apparently misunderstood that you could tell that this is... Whoever's writing this Wikipedia is a big fan of Hameroff, right? Yeah. So you should see Rabbi Yitzhak Ginsburg's Wikipedia. I tried to change it and amend it. Yeah. And there's a psycho hell beast that seems like he's being paid full time to continue writing lies about
Russian horror. Yeah.
A psycho hell beast, okay? Yeah. So Hameroff, I think I would puree these people. Hameroff apparently misunderstood that you and Bass and Boss actually reconstructed the microtubule arrays of a 56 micromillimeter axon. I think it's micromillimeter. It could be even more, nanomillimeter or something like that. Anyway, so 56 something millimeter, really small, okay? Axon from a cell that had undergone axon differentiation. And this reconstructed axon contained 1,430 MTs. Okay, this is just like pure, this is not speaking English at all. Okay.
Yeah.
Hameroff's 1998 hypothesis required the cortical dendrites contain primarily a lattice microtubule. They contain a lattice microtubular structure. Okay. So OR also required gap junctions between neurons and glial cells. Okay. So they're not actually saying anything outright. Here's what I've heard them say literally in their own words. Hameroff, Penrose. You can see it on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
They're saying that they seem in their research and in their theories that it would seem that consciousness
I've never seen anything like it.
Okay, it's not located in the neurons. Okay, the neurons have structures which seem to express consciousness or bond with it or channel it or receive it, something like that. Okay, and so you're not gonna. I got no sense within the language of this supposed article here on Wikipedia that they were going to say that outright. They're going to hide that in layers and layers of jargon.
Yeah.
So sorry for wasting everybody's time reading the Wikipedia, but you guys could look it up yourself on YouTube. Hopefully, if they haven't been taken down, right? Hameroff, Stuart Hameroff, and Roger Penrose. Just type that in, see what happens. You'll see a bunch of videos. Yeah. Another thing is there's a movie that came out, I think it was in the late 90s, early 2000s. It's called What the Bleep Do We Know?
Oh, yeah. I saw that. They had us watch it at Rage, actually.
Yeah. So
you know the one thing I remember from that movie is this woman from there's like some center in
alien lady.
No, from Sedona. Not alien lady. She's from Sedona Consciousness something Institute, and she goes, we still haven't quantified what it is that makes a man have an erection, meaning like as a thought goes into his mind, he has a thought, and that thought sends a signal. The thought, which is this esoteric, I'm just paraphrasing this whole thing, esoteric thing, and sends a signal to whatever, and to chemicals in his brain that send blood to rushing to his, part. We still haven't figured out why that is, what that is. What causes that? That's the one thing I remember from that movie. Of course.
I want to tell you, I actually don't recall that, right?
Yeah,
it seems like something.
Yeah.
But I want to say that movie is like a half and half, of just kind of like new age dumbasses.
Yeah.
And some real researchers.
Yeah.
Hameroff was one of the real researchers that they were interviewing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they interviewed Penrose in that movie.
Yeah.
But the lead character in that movie was Marlee Matlin. She was like the deaf actress. She always plays the deaf.
I think there was this. This was the woman that. Here, hold on. Let me play this.
A feeling that some would call a sexual fantasy.
Yeah, here.
It only takes one sexual fantasy for a man to have a hard-on.
Yeah, she goes, the feeling that someone calls sexual fantasy, it only takes one sexual fantasy for a man to have a hard-on. Is it the woman?
No, that's not.
Oh, this is Ram.
The movie was like this. There was an actual movie narrative.
Yeah.
And then in between the scenes, they had these interviews.
So this is the woman. One of the interviews, Ramtha or Jay-Z Knight, explains the quantum mechanics.
That's what I'm saying. Ramtha is this alien lady.
Oh, okay. So she's explaining the mechanics of the erection.
Says that she's an alien.
Oh, okay,
she's
fine.
a reincarnation of some alien named Cliptu or Klaatu, or I don't know. Maybe I'm mixing that up.
Whatever it is.
Ramtha. I'm sorry, Ramtha.
Yeah.
No, so Jay-Z Knight, I think, was her original name.
Yes.
Ramtha is her alien name.
So in this clip, it's like a 25-second clip. She asks, like, what is it? The man has a fantasy, and how did he get to an erection?
I told you it was the alien lady. I told you.
Okay. Wait, hold on.
Erection in his member.
Hold on.
And yet, there was nothing outside of him that gave him that.
Funny, with
It
my
was
luck,
what
she'll
was
be the
within
president
him.
of NBC.
What?
No, I'm just trying to.
Okay.
I was just using. I just want to see if I could use a Rickles line in relation to that.
So she was saying.
He makes fun of somebody in the audience, and he goes, "With my luck, that'll be the president of NBC."
Oh. Yeah. So she goes. There was nothing outside of that man that gave him that fantasy. He had a fantasy, and he got an erection.
Okay, Greg, you have to keep saying it.
No, but she's trying to say like it's a thought that turned into something physical, which is crazy.
Right, a thought is not physical.
We haven't quantified how that even happens. It's impossible
and they're
to
not
know.
trying to. They're not trying to.
I know. It's insane.
They know that that's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not going to try. They're not going to figure it out. They're going to come up with some cockamamie, just kind of like, what do they call, when you just skirt, you just kind of like write something like crappy, just to kind of pass it off.
Yeah, just as a
PhD.
PhD.
And then move on with their life.
As a PhD thing, yeah.
Yeah, some kind of like a swamp gas, weather balloon theory, and everybody can go back to sleep, right? Okay, so basically, right? No, but if you guys wanted to see Stuart Hameroff discuss it, then that's a good place to look. You could look at his, or you could probably find it on YouTube. What the bleep do we know, Stuart Hameroff, and then perhaps But I've heard a lot of their lectures. I've heard them both speak, and very often have they said, okay. Although they do get defensive in the, around their scientific buddies, right? Because they know what it sounds like to them.
Yeah.
They said that really it seems that our research and what we're seeing here really does indicate a non-local consciousness, meaning the body does not produce consciousness. That's what it means.
Yeah. Okay.
That consciousness is not a feature of one particular locality. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So. And like the forces of nature are, right? Like think about a radio signal. Where is it? Why is it that if you have a radio, you can pick it up?
Yeah.
Right? There's no like wire. There's no radio wire attached to the radio. So how is it? Where are you getting the signal? It's everywhere. It's in the air. It's flying through space. Okay. Now radio is relatively like a short range thing, right?
Yeah.
But there are some like cosmic rays or like the microwave. There's radiation in the universe itself that's literally everywhere. Okay? So all you need is an instrument to access it or to channel it, and you could pick it up, you could hear it, you can see it sometimes. That's what these astronomical instruments do. They just pick up on signals that are already there because they are just there by default in nature. So consciousness. So they're arguing that consciousness is like that too, which matched very much with what the Torah and the Chazal have been saying all this time.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted to... Right. So the point is that since these microtubules, right, which are I could almost say infinitely more complex than neurons.
Yeah.
Okay? And the number of them is... Like you have trillions of neurons, or maybe hundreds of millions of neurons, or something like that. Okay, how many neurons does the brain have? Let's do that quickly.
Oh my God!
Let's Google that.
A
Let's
lot.
Google that. Googly eyes.
Yeah.
I just saw that. Did you see the googly eyes skit from Christopher Walken? Just put some googly eyes on it.
I heard it, but I didn't.
And the whole thing is about him saying googly, just saying the way he sounds, but he says googly. Anyway, so let's see.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah. How many neurons are in the brain? Okay. Somebody already asked that question. Remarkably, there are 86 billion neurons in the brain. Okay? So you have to raise that to the 7th exponent. And that's how many microtubules you have. And then, so also don't take microtubules for granted, right? They probably also have some insanely fine, complicated and sophisticated structure, which you're going to have to figure out, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody knows where it ends. Yeah. You're not going to reproduce a human brain. God created the most sophisticated technology possible.
Yeah.
You're not going to back engineer it.
Yeah. Reverse engineer.
Okay. Yeah. They don't think that they're not going to reverse engineer it. Okay. They thought they would. Yeah. Okay. And I think sometimes, when people study a subject and then they develop what they think is a solid theory, and then they discover, or somebody else discovers, which is even worse, that their theory is stupid because it's way too simplistic and it's not going to work because they underestimated the complexity of what they were studying, right? Yeah. So that will, an entire life's work down the drain. At that point, they're just trying to salvage their whatever, their ego, I suppose. Okay, so that's the primary thing that made me really reconsider the whole Kurzweil approach. I like his idea, right? Yeah. I like the idea I like the reasoning why he wanted to do this. Okay, his motivation. I have a similar motivation. Yeah. Okay. I also don't want people to die. I also don't want to lose loved ones. And I also don't believe that a limited lifespan is what gives life purpose. No, or gives life value. It's because it's short. Yeah. So that that creates this importance of using your time carefully and really enjoying it while it lasts. People argue about that crap. Yeah. And he disagreed with that vehemently. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that I like about Kurzweil pre-2015. Yeah. Okay. But his solutions for it are primitive. Yeah. You're not going to re-engineer the brain. The body, that might be a different story. Now the question is, what are they really trying to reprogram, right? With this shmem shmarna. Yeah. Right? Is it the brain? Okay. Yeah. What if it's okay? So if that's the case, then then that's a serious problem, right? Because you are re-engineering, who you are, essentially, or they're not allowing who you are to be in the body. So think about it like this: your body, which is basically your brain, right? Yeah. It is a receiver for you. Okay. Yeah. For your consciousness. So if they rewire that, if they change that and to be something else, then it's not going to be receiving you anymore. Who is it going to be receiving? Yeah. Something else maybe. Not necessarily a good thing. Yeah. Right? Who knows what this thing is that they're trying to either channel something else besides you entirely, or some kind of parasitic consciousness that's going to bond with you and dominate your consciousness, and not, you know what I mean? It's like, because the main form of life is consciousness. It's not the body. Life exists everywhere, all throughout the universe. Its main manifestation in the universe is consciousness. Consciousness doesn't need a body to be. Okay? This whole existence that we live in, this corporeal existence, right, where we are limited to a single, we're contained, basically. We're being channeled through a filter, this body, this brain, okay? Yeah. That's something that, that's what God wants. That's ultimately his final, point, okay? That's the point of existence. But not everything in the universe and existence is allowed to live on that plane, the physical plane that we live on, right, that we complain about all the time. Yeah. So there are things out there that realize that they are not going to be allowed to live in this plane of existence, and they want to. Okay? Yeah. So I don't know I don't know, this might have something to do with that. Okay? I don't know. But So anyway, just to boil this down quickly,
Yeah.
you have this. If here's what I'll say: if your brain is you, right? And let's say they use a technology, let's say to do stuff to the body, right? Not the brain, but the body, right? If it changes the genetic structure or it does some kind of physical, I don't know, reconfiguration, right?
Yeah.
In your body, not your brain. That might not be a problem. In fact, that could be useful in the future.
Yeah.
Right? This mRNA thing, this CRISPR, all these editing devices may not be bad.
Yeah.
In fact, we know they're not bad.
Yeah.
In fact, everything that is being presented now is good, and God wants it here, and He wants it to be used for holiness.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But the Sitra Achra gets it first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somehow we have to survive that.
So can I ask you a question? Why does the Sitra Achra get things first?
Because of, well, here's why. It's actually pretty simple. So remember the arrangement that God made after the tree incident?
Yeah.
Rabbi Kessin was explaining. Basically, human beings,
Yeah.
Adam and Chava, they would get a direct, like, they have this umbilical cord that connects them to God. This allegorical, metaphorical umbilical cord that goes directly into God's essence. And God, He sends life force, energy, and existence to Adam and Chava. And every single creature in the universe has this setup with God. The Nachash lost his setup. He lost his direct access to life force from God.
Yeah.
Okay? So so what God did was He took the Nachash's umbilical cord and He spliced it. He connected it to our umbilical cord.
Mm-hmm.
When God sends energy, when He sends life force, when He sends existence, nourishment to people, right? It goes directly to people unless the Nachash can convince them to sin, to go against God's will. Then it immediately gets redirected to the Nachash.
Yeah.
Okay? So why does the Sitra Achra get it first? Because you can count on people to F up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Are you sleeping already?
No. I'm just it's interesting.
Deep in thought?
No, it's interesting.
So you wanna talk about the Nachash a little bit?
Yeah, please.
I'm trying to find something to read, and I found something. I'm not entirely sure how kosher this is, but I'm looking at it, and it seems to be using kosher language.
From what I understand, from what I was told, the Nachash, it all goes back to like all these things, whether it's the Nachash, the Sitra Achra, Satan, they were all created by Hashem anyway.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting here poo-pooing these guys, these entities, but Hashem did this. So in a way, none of this is really our fault. In a way, what other scenario or endpoint could there have been? Did Hava really have a choice? Did Adam really have a choice? Like people say, oh, they made this. Dude, like they were totally powerless. You know what I'm saying?
So we know that they weren't totally powerless.
Not totally, but like again, something Hashem made. Hashem made it.
No, I understand. I know that. No, there was a the way I've heard it explained, which makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay, is that the story as it's told, right?
Yeah.
It's told with a certain type of tone, which makes people feel like it's some kind of like story about a mistake being made and God being upset and then cursing people.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, there is another way to look at it, and it's the same exact events. Okay? But the intonation is different.
Okay.
You ever seen those videos that where if you change the music, it makes it from comedic to dramatic?
Yeah.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so but you're watching the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing. So God put Adam and Chava by the tree. Okay? So the tree and the fruit of the tree is the gateway to the world of Asiya. This messed up, effed up world which God created. Okay? In which he wanted his home, his final, the place where he wanted to dwell, and where he wants his Shekhinah to dwell and to manifest. Okay? Is in the physical world, Asiya.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So basically, so he didn't want to send Adam and Chava. He didn't want to push them in there. Okay? What he needed was for them to make a choice to go down there and do the work which he needs done.
Yeah.
Okay? So he put him next to the gate to the world, because this is in Yetzirah. Okay? This whole situation is happening. It's in the world of Yetzirah. It's in what we call heaven. The tree of knowledge incident occurred in heaven. Okay? So God's like, all right, you guys are here. You can stay here. You can.
Brother, can you hold on 1 second? I'm sorry. Can you hold on 1 second?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. All right, continue. Sorry.
No problem. So God put Adam and Chava in Yetzirah, which is Gan Eden, okay, and put them right at the doorway to the exit of Gan Eden, which is where he actually wanted them to go, because he needed work done here in this world, which only they could do. Meanwhile, before they got there, who's inhabiting the world of Asiya? Other beings who think that they can do the job that needs to be done. Okay?
Yeah.
So obviously God didn't think so. Okay. But with Adam and Chava, he couldn't tell them, go down there and do this, because it's a extremely horrible place. Now, the whole question is, why would God need a world like this? And why, and that's a whole separate thing. We can't talk about that now, because that would just be a totally separate discussion.
Yeah.
But let's say we put that question to the side. So God apparently couldn't tell them outright, go and do it. He needed them to make that choice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, now it's probably not this simplistic, but basically, so after he told them that, don't eat that tree, because if you do, here's what's going to end up happening. You're going to end up in a world where there is death. Living in that world, you're going to experience, everything there experiences death and pain and struggles to find food, and struggles in reproducing, and he was explaining to them that, just not the consequences, but the facts of life in that realm of existence. And most people read it as, if you do this, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's what most people read.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, so I'd just like to point out that Adam and Chava had no evil inclination when they made this choice.
Yeah.
Okay? So how could it be tempted and evil? How could it be? They didn't have an evil inclination. Anyway, moving on. So basically, the Nachash approached Chava, and he told her that he told her he goes, you should eat from the tree, because here's what's going to happen. If you eat from the tree, you're going to have this perspective and that perspective, and you're going to understand things that were not necessarily clear. You're going to end up in this world where things are going to be a certain way. So it sounds like the Nachash is trying to trick her, but he's actually just telling her basically the truth. Okay?
Yeah.
And then she thinks about it carefully, what he's saying, and then she eats from it, and she gets Adam to go eat from it too, which means she convinces him. How did she force Adam to eat this? Did anybody ever ask this question?
No clue.
Right? He's just a dumbass who just did whatever she said? No. Okay? Yeah. So he basically, she talked to him. She said, look, God wants us to go down there to do the work that he needs done over there, okay? But it's really scary. It's really painful. It's really bad. He wouldn't force us to go down there, okay?
Yeah.
So if we could make a decision...
dude, listen, hold on. Can you give me 1 second? I'm so sorry. Gosh. All right. No, listen, this is something I learned in finance class. It's called the time value of money. The professor was like, you want to... People, these businesses, what's viable for them, viable for anybody really, but these businesses have optimized this, is to get as much money or money as soon as possible, and to release, if you have to release money, to take as long as possible for the cash flow to be on your side. Yeah. Always.
I know these people are criminals.
It's criminal, yeah. It's a criminal strategy, but it's something that's become like the standard, and everybody just it's just processing time. No, it's effing not. There's no machines that are processing anything. It's your damn thing that you do, and you figured out what's the acceptable amount of time people are willing to wait.
Dude, it's literally like, can I get my money back? And then they hand it to you, and you're like, give it to me, and then they're like, eh. And
yeah, they're like dragging it.
Pull it out of their hand, and they're like, eh.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I tell them, I'm like, how come there's no processing time when you guys charged me on the spot when I bought the product? There was no processing time. The credit card company ran right through.
Fast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it went through so fast.
Yeah, it has to go through or like my parents, they just got, they leased the car, and then they had to get like some money, some rebate, something, whatever, some money back. And then the woman calls, she's like, yeah, it takes some time, and it has to go to the finance department, and then it has to go to this, and then that. It's funny, it didn't have to go to the finance department when we paid for the car. It didn't. I mean, it had to go to the finance department, but for different reasons, right?
Yeah.
But it took same day. It took like within 30 minutes. We gave the card, boom, charged. To get the thing, 2 weeks and this, and it goes over here, and a person has to sign, and It's just strange. It's really strange how that works. Anyway.
Yeah.
You tell him.
Yeah.
Sucker. But that's a nachash, man. That's also the nachash.
Well, of course it is.
Yeah.
So hold on 1 second. Hold on. Let's see.
Dude, it's hard to. It sounds like you're a little quiet.
1 minute. I'll try to find. Oh shit. 1 second. Okay, so I just wanted to read the account. Okay. I wanted to read the whole story. It's not very long, of the whole Adam and Chava and the Nachash situation.
Dude, it's hard to hear your phone. It's hard to hear you.
How about now? Better?
A little better. It was just it was just like, it sounded like you had something covering your mouth or something like that.
Okay, so let's see now. Just a second.
Hold on a second, man. Sorry. Oh my God. Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay. All right. So, let's see. Now the serpent was the shrewdest. That's how it's translated. But it actually says arumim. No. It says vehanachash haya arum.
Yeah.
Arum means naked.
Yeah.
But it's translated as shrewdest and cleverest.
Interesting.
Okay?
Interesting.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about that, because when Adam and Chava are described, just actually in the verse right before that, the last verse of chapter 2 of Genesis, it says, Vayichyu Shneihem. And they were, both of them, Arumim. Naked. Ha'adam, the man, the Ishto and his wife, the lo yit boshashu, vayit boshashu, and they were not ashamed. They felt no shame.
Yeah.
Okay? So the word arumim, that's the plural of arum. Okay? It means naked. So how does arum mean clever? Explain that to me. It's literally the next pasuk.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 25,
yeah.
the word arumim is used to describe the nakedness of Adam and Chava.
Yeah.
And in Genesis chapter 3,
yeah.
verse 1, which is the next pasuk, right?
Yeah.
It says, and the Nachash was arum, naked.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it says cleverest, okay?
Yeah.
So the question is, I wanted to see how did this idea of nudity and cleverness or intelligence,
yeah.
What is the connection? So here's what I came up with. When you are clever, when you're intelligent, right? Everything is naked before you.
Yeah.
Naked as in the sense it's not covered up. Its truth is not hidden from you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So by this term nude could mean that there is no pretense.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no masks. Everything is unmasked, everything is clear, all the masks are off, everything is clear as day.
Yeah.
That's my way of connecting this idea of nudity to cleverness. Okay? To intelligence. Yeah. So the serpent was the shrewdest of all the beasts, right? Yeah. It says Mikol Hayat. Actually, in the Hebrew, Mikol Hayat, yeah. It actually means from all life. If you want to be technical, Hayat, Hay is life. Hayat is, if you wanted, I was going to create a word, a lifey. All the lifeys that there are, things that have life, right?
Yeah.
A lifey. That's my term.
Yeah.
Okay? It was the smartest of all the lifeys in the field. Okay?
Yeah.
That Asher Asa, that God had made. And that word Asa seems to be implied, it's connected to the world of Asiya, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay? So that Hashem Elohim, okay, had made. Vayomer, and he said, El Ha'isha, and he said to the woman,
yeah.
Af Ki Amar, okay? Yeah. It's almost like to say, is it or but or hence or is it so that it was said that God said Elohim, right?
Yeah.
Lo tochlu, not to eat. Mikol eats from all of the fruits. And by the way, eights also means idea, not just. Eights is tree, but it also means idea. You know, like when someone gives you counseling. Yeah. Somebody gave you advice. It's called an eitzah, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So, Mikol eights from all the eights Hagan of the garden. So, yeah. Is it true that God told you not to eat from any of the trees of the garden? Right. So, I don't have. So I'm not exactly sure why he phrased it to her that way. Okay. I think it was because he wanted to start a conversation with her. He wanted to start a dialogue. So it says that he pretended to misunderstand the situation, and therefore she would feel compelled to explain it to him.
Yeah.
Okay. So Vatomer, and she said, Ha'isha, the woman, El Hanahash, to the serpent, Mipri eats from the fruit of the tree, Hagan, of the garden, Nochel, we may eat.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next verse says, Umipri ha'etz, and from the fruit of the tree, Asher betoch Hagan, that is in the middle of the garden, Omar Elohim, God said, Lo tochlu mimenu, do not eat from it.
Yeah.
Velo tigu, and don't touch it. Velo tigu, and don't touch bo it or on it. Pen timutun, lest you shall die. So, by the way, death, according to the Torah, is there's no such thing as death as people think about it. Okay?
Yeah.
It means leveling down, downgrading. Death means a downgrade. There's no such thing as non-existence for a conscious entity. Okay? You have a living being. Life is eternal. So all that you can do to life is to send it to a place of less consciousness. Okay? But you can't, that's what death means according to the Torah.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, for the time being, this physical world is the world of death.
Yeah.
Every other world is the world of life, and we live in death world.
Yeah.
Okay? So, in a sense, if, whatever, I don't want to get into that. Okay, so, number 4. Vayomer hanachash, and the Nachash said, El ha'isha, to the woman, Lo mot temutun. You are not going to die.
Yeah.
Okay? And what he probably meant, if we're looking at this from the positive lens, right, is he's saying, no, you're not going to die. I mean, it's going to be different there, and it might feel like that, but what you're really doing is you're going there, and the work that you're going to be doing there is going to lead to the greatest of all life. For everybody, you're going to make God happy. Okay, because you're gonna go down there and do what needs to be done. Okay, so ki yoda, and then it continues ki yoda, but he knows Elohim God, right? Ki, that beyom, on the day ochalchem, of your eating, meaning when you eat, right? Mimenu, from it, when you eat from the tree of knowledge, right? Venif techu, and they will be opened, einechem, your eyes. V'hiitem, and you shall be ke'elohim, right? Like divine beings. Yodei, who know, who are intimate with. Listen to this. The word yodei means an intimate knowledge. Someone that has not just thought about it, right? But has actually experienced it. Yodei, the word yoda, yodei, all of this, it means like personal, first-hand experience type knowledge. Okay? So it says, you shall be ke'elohim, like divine beings, yodei, that intimately experience tov v'ra, good and bad. So he's not lying to them. He's saying that you are like divine beings that will be experiencing a lesser form of consciousness, which is called good and evil. He's not lying to them, because she understood what good and she knows what good and evil is. She knows that it is a downgrade from the state of consciousness that they're currently in, which is called truth and false. And he knows that she knows that, and she knows that he knows that. So this is a conversation that's being had by beings so intelligent that we cannot possibly relate to how any living being could be this knowledgeable and intelligent. Okay? You're not talking to like baby idiots here. By the way, that's the question that you always have to ask. Like the rabbis are always saying, Chazal, even in the Gemara, they have to say, always remember, ask the question, who are we talking? When we're talking about when we're reading the Torah and we're reading about the Avot and all these people, are they idiots? Ask yourself that question. If you feel that they're idiots, then stop right here, and then there's no need to continue. Okay? But if they're not idiots, then analyze this correctly. Okay? And why would not idiots make decisions like this? Okay. So basically, what he's saying to her is that God knows that as soon as you eat, your consciousness will be changed. It'll be downgraded, and you're gonna know what it's like to live in a confused world where you have to make subjective decisions. That's what he told them. He told them the truth. Okay? So, Vatera, and she saw Ha'isha, the woman. This is right after Nachash told her this. But they're saying, you're going to go live in a shitty world. Right? Vatera, and she saw Ha'isha, the woman, Ki Tov, that good. That it is good. Ha'itz, the tree. Okay? Le ma'achol, for eating.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
For consuming. V'hi and because or like ta'ava, it was desirable. Who it was. Lo einayim, to the eyes. V'nechmod, and pleasant. Ho'etz, and it was pleasant. The tree lahaskil, to think about, to intellectualize. Lahaskil.
Yeah.
Right? The tree was it was a desirable as something to ponder, a thought experiment, if you will. Right? Like think about, it's sort of like when we talk about what would it be to live like in Flatland, to be a two-dimensional being. Yeah. Right? There's a book called Flatland where somebody literally did this thought experiment.
What's his name? Carl Sagan made a whole demonstration about it.
Yeah. Right. So, what would it be like to live in a completely different state of existence where we don't see the dimensions that we have access to now? Yeah. How interesting would that be? Okay. And so she, as a scientific being, was fascinated by such an experience.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, and then it continues. That's the blender. Can you hear it?
Yeah, not at all. Barely.
Really? Okay, that's awesome. So, very interesting. So, vatikach, and she took mi piryo, from its fruit. Vatochal, and she ate. Okay. She ate it. Okay. Vatitain, and she gave it, gam also leisha, to her husband.
Yeah.
Okay. Imoch, with her. Vayochal, and he ate it.
Yeah.
Was he an idiot?
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about Adam here. Okay. Yeah. So she convinced him that this is a very interesting thought experiment. It's a very interesting experience to have. And in fact, God wants us to do this, but he didn't have the nerve to tell us, basically, to borrow a human expression, right? Yeah. He couldn't, because he loves us, he wouldn't want to put us in danger, but he did want us to do this job, and he needed us to make the decision ourselves. So we had to take the final step ourselves. Yeah. This is what she told to Adam, and on some level, she was right. Yeah. So hold on. Okay? Okay. So it continues. It says, Vati pokachno. Okay? Second. And they were opened. Einei, the eyes of Shenehem, both of them, and both of their eyes were open. Okay. Yeah. Vayedu, and they intimately experienced this knowledge, this experience. Ki a rumim, that they were naked. Okay, they didn't understand necessarily. They weren't fully conscious of their nudity.
Yeah.
Okay, and so them. Okay, so I'm sorry. So let me just vati pakachnu, and their eyes, and they were opened. Einai, their eyes. Shenehem, of both of them. Vayedu, and they were intimately experiencing ki erumim, that they were naked. Okay, which actually is very interesting, because it doesn't necessarily mean that they were like actually naked, although it does mean that. But there's more to it. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that they were physically naked, even though they were. Okay, even though they were the smartest of all beings, right? They didn't have enough awareness of self to realize that they were so smart and clever. Yeah. Because in Yetzirah and in the higher levels where they were frequently located, like Beria and Atzilut, right? By the way, Gan Eden is everything from Atzilut to Asiya. The whole thing. That's the entire spectrum. Gan Eden is from Atzilut to Berea to Yetzirah, and until the gate out of Gan Eden is into the world of Asiya. Okay?
Yeah.
So they began to be conscious of the fact of characteristics that they had, that they never thought about themselves.
Yeah.
Okay? They knew enough, they were aware enough of their own existence to realize that they were existing, that God wanted them to be something besides him. They knew that. They felt that.
Yeah.
But they never, their focus was entirely on God.
Yeah.
Like, think about this. This is amazing. I think this is to do with Atzilut consciousness. What is it like in Atzilut? Have you ever been so transfixed on an idea,
Mm-hmm.
or just whatever, just anything that you're really interested in, you're super fascinated by, and you were just lost in that thought for like minutes, maybe half an hour, right?
Yep.
And you lose all sense of self. Your entire focus is on that thought, on that idea that you're so mesmerized by, right?
Yeah.
Or have you ever seen a woman so beautiful, right, that you are just completely mesmerized by her beauty and you forget about yourself?
Yeah.
That's it. Like when people get caught like staring, they forget about themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, and their entire attention is transfixed on this object of what they're astonished by.
Yeah.
So Adam and Chava were astonished by God.
Yeah. Interesting.
And their entire experience was looking at him, experiencing him, being connected to him, studying him, learning more stuff. When I say him, you know what I mean. I don't mean a male. Okay. Now, so now once they ate from the tree, they were separated from that experience, and then they looked at themselves, meaning for the first time they became conscious, or they were revealed to themselves. Let's put it that way. They never knew that. They never really knew or cared to really think about too much what they were. They knew that they were these things that they spent all their time looking at God. They didn't want to bother. They couldn't. You don't understand. When to them, when they're, and by the way, neither do I. Okay, when you're in the presence of God, how it's almost impossible to bring your attention to anything else.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the first time, they were uncovered to themselves. They never really looked at themselves before.
Yeah.
That's what it means. They were naked.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically,
you know what ticks me off a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, it's always ticked me off that we're sitting here and we're learning these ideas and we're learning really what the Torah means when it says X, Y, and Z. And it really upsets me that, first of all, most frum Jews don't learn this. And most, they take everything. It's not that they take it stuff literally. It's that they take it at pshat. Because to me, like, when we learn this stuff, and it's, people call it sod, people call it Kabbalah, but to me, it's actually more real and more imaginable that it actually happened that way than when I read whatever the pshat is. You understand what I mean?
Well, that's what the Vilna Gaon said.
And no, but isn't it crazy that people have all these questions on all the stories, all the famous, only from the book of Bereshit itself, not even the Parshas Bereshit, but the whole book of Bereshit, right? They have all these questions, famous questions. Why this? Why that? What was this? What was that? Who was this? And to me, it's just like, all you got to do is read Kabbalah, and the answers are there. And they're not only like you call midrashic or figurative and whatever it is.
No, dude, midrashic is where all of the information is encoded.
I know. I'm just saying this is spiritual technology, but it's not just spiritual technology. it's tangible technology, and it's very. I would use the word infuriating to me, that you have like highly intelligent, let's say people in the, I don't know, the modern Orthodox world or whatever, who are just not looking. Not only are they not looking into these things, when you tell them about it, they think you're speaking mumbo jumbo. It's just too scary to even touch. And then you get into like the rest of the world where it's just these ideas. You would think that these ideas would be movie. Dude, when I hear people talk about this, or when I listen to you like give over like basically a vort on it, I'm imagining a movie in my mind, and I'm wondering why the hell hasn't not anyone made a movie about any of this? Is it the?
I tried to.
Is the Citra?
One reason is you saw my animation that I sent you, right?
No, I know.
And how awful my animation
no,
skills
but that's
are.
not,
That's why.
No, listen. There are. I guarantee you. If there's a James Cameron out there, I guarantee you, if you gave it these ideas to someone like a James Cameron type, just maybe like a Jewish guy who's like knows Torah, it's just. Is it this just the Sitra Achra is holding all of this down?
Come on, buddy.
No.
Come on, buddy.
You know what I'm saying?
It ain't no secret around here that anybody who gets to that level, like James Cameron or Spielberg or one of those guys, it ain't no secret around here that them and the Sitra Achra is very fond of one another.
I get that, but you know what I'm saying.
Buddy.
But you know what I'm saying in general. But I guess so. Your answer is the Sitra Achra is holding all of this down.
Dude, the Hollywood is Sitra Achraville.
Yeah.
I don't know how much clearer we can be.
Yeah.
Sitra Achraville will not let you make an awesome movie that talks about these absolutely mesmerizing concepts that everybody would be spending all day learning had they if they would know about them.
Yeah.
Okay? The Sitra Achra spends all of its time and energy making sure that people never learn Hebrew, never learn the text of the Torah, or even consider that it's something worth learning. Okay? It keeps it in Clownville.
Yeah.
As much as possible. That's the whole. Okay.
The thing that kills me, man, is that it keeps it in Clownville within the Torah community itself.
Yeah, it's done a very great job.
It's like you go to these like cure organizations and these yeshivot in Israel, and it's like baby infantile retard Torah. Do you know what I'm saying?
I like the way you said that.
Yeah.
Baby infantile retard Torah.
No, it's just like it's like I don't know. I'm just like listening even to some of these. It's just I don't know, man. What the hell is going on? Our pets' heads are falling off.
It would seem, right? Like, here's what I don't really understand the dynamic. It would seem that all of the most revered leaders of the Jewish people, all the big famous rabbis, right? The Baal Shem Tov, okay, the Maharal, the Ari, the Vilna Gaon, okay, the Alter Rebbe, all the Rebbeim, they all learned this.
Yeah.
Okay, all of it, and they encouraged learning it for everybody.
Yeah.
They said you must learn it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we just covered? Like the Ben Ish Chai. So everybody from the Sephardic world, from the Litvische world, from the Hasidic world, all of the main leaders have been saying already hundreds of years ago, eat from the tree of life.
Yeah.
That's Kabbalah, by the way. Okay?
Yeah.
And so why aren't people doing it? The only thing that I can come to is that the rabbis of today are rebelling against the true leaders of Israel.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a conscious thing. I don't know if they just are so.
And can I say that I blame them for the existence of something like Kabbalah Center. I don't blame the people who made Kabbalah Center, because what they are just a product of a society that is searching for something and is like a blind man in a dark room looking for a black cat that isn't there. Remember that movie, Stand and Deliver?
Yeah.
You know, this kid stuff, man. You know this, man.
Yeah.
Okay?
This is me.
They're a
This
product
is,
of a...
your Aztecs, your ancestors, the Aztecs were learning this stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's in your blood.
Kimosabi. The Kabbalah Center people, they're going to get it from them if they're not going to get it from you. Stupid. Stupid rabbi. Debil. And you say, and you say the Kabbalah Center stus. Well, if you taught it, they'd go to you. Half the Jews in that room, or half the people in that room who are Jews, would go to you, Mr. Black Hat Man.
All right, folks at home, Greg has gone bye-bye.
Oh, yeah, he's gone. Merlot. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Merlot time.
It's Merlot time. Greg has gone to the dark side once again. Right?
No, but it's just, dude, you know, I'm telling you, from the moment I became frum, and then I came back to America, and I looked around me, I looked at all of these things that were going on, you know, with what I just described, Kabbalah Center, cure organizations, this, that, and I wanted to wring someone's neck. I wanted to find the person responsible, or the people responsible, and I wanted to wring their necks. And again, I hated when people blame others for what they're at fault of.
Okay, so
dude, do you know? Can I tell you something? Do you know that the people who run Rage, who used to run Rage, they went to Kabbalah Center session to see what Kabbalah Center was doing right and what they were doing wrong. I just gave you a secret that nobody knows.
That's actually wise.
I know it's wise, and they still didn't apply the things that they learned. They continued going as they were. You know, it's like there was a football coach, Dennis Green. You know, his team was up like 30 points. It's a famous speech that he gave. He's like, we had them where they want them, and we let them off the hook.
Yeah.
We were up 30-0, and we let them off the hook. They let it.
That's exactly the Erev Rav Israel, the Israeli Erev Rav game plan is to have them where you want them and then give it back to them.
Oh my God, dude!
Conquer them and then give it back to them.
This woman told me, administrator, she goes, yeah, we went to Kabbalah Center to see. I took the rabbi so and so over there to see what these guys are doing right in terms of, you know, like marketing and branding and messaging. And I'm like, okay, did you learn anything? Yeah. Are you going to implement it? Yeah, we're going to see. We do. We have to get the funding. President, board, schmore. Dude, I'm not at Merlot right now. You know where I am?
Dude, you're in the...
I'm in Grenache Syrah Movid, GSM. It's a blend.
Some kind of very dark wine.
It's a blend of nobody knows what the flip. Okay.
We got to get the audience back. We got to get them back.
They're here. We got them back. They're engaged now.
We got to pull them out of the well. We got to pull them. We fell down the well. We got to pull them back up.
Oh, they're here, sir. You know that we're at 3.5 hours in this total thing among the 3 different recordings that we made just now.
And it's funny. All I wanted to do was just talk about like the Nachash. And by the way, you just went on a 45-minute tirade.
It wasn't a 45 minutes. It's actually in reality like 5 minutes.
Okay, it wasn't 5 minutes, but
like
it was
10,
something in between
maximum,
45 and 5 minutes.
10 maximum, not 45.
All right, I'm just saying that there's a lot of those. Okay, so it's not, so I don't mind them being long. I just don't want to be blamed for the reason why they're long. I am long-winded, but
listen, this is totally relevant because you know what? I bet you there are people out there, and I know for a fact that there are people out there who understand what I'm saying, who like empathize with what I'm saying. Not only empathize, but I have a friend who actually told me that the reason he's still going to Kabbalah Center is because he can't get at these other places what he gets at Kabbalah Center, which is very, very sad in and of itself.
I mean, it's sad because you have, you know, honestly, like, he is a character, but you got Barzado.
Dude.
Okay?
This guy needs community. My friend needs community. You're not getting community from a dude.
Oh, you mean like he likes the social environment?
It's not just the social. He needs everything. A community of people learning and this and that. You're not going to get community from a dude sitting in front of a Chinese wall in Knoxville, Tennessee, and who talks in riddles. Okay.
No, but that's not like, he actually has classes, right? They're virtual classes,
Sure.
but there are people there.
Sure.
Everybody's asking questions. It's it's
No,
interactive. So
I know, but my friend wants, like Shabbat and this, Rabbi, into physical, whatever. I mean, it hasn't, whatever. They haven't been doing much because of COVID lately. Because at the end of the day, it's run by a bunch of
by the way,
wacky.
I mean, Chabad is amazing. They don't hide Kabbalah. Like they don't hide. I learned.
Yeah, I know.
Everything I'm saying right now, I actually first heard these concepts
I know.
taught by Manus Friedman. He got it from the Meshech Chochmah, who was another Hasidic Rav.
Guess what?
And so on and so forth.
Guess what? My friend, like many other people, is afraid of black hats.
Okay, so your friend's a schmuck. That's a problem. Okay? God bless him. Anyway,
he did bless him.
Okay, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna try to speed through this now.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So basically, they were aware of themselves, Adam and Chava, for the first time. Okay? They were nude, meaning they were not, whatever it was that was blocking them from knowing themselves, that which was God, they were not experiencing it to that level anymore. So they noticed themselves. Okay?
Yeah.
And everything that they were doing, look, they weren't any different, right? They were still the same people, okay? Yeah. But everything that they were doing before, they did, they did the mitzvahs, they did have sex, they everything, but because it was in the presence of God and they were following, they would never do anything against His will. It all felt absolutely perfect and pure, and there was never any tinge of guilt or felt like there was any evil associated whatsoever.
Yeah.
But now, there's potential for them to do it for more than just for God's purposes, but now they have their own motivations.
Dude, can I tell you and I was debating whether or not to even say this on air, but you know what? I'll say it.
Can you hold on? Is there any way you could hold on to it so I can just finish this?
I can, but it's okay. But it's relevant to what you just said. Anyway,
no, it's okay. Just hold it. Just hold it.
Fine.
I promise you.
Fine.
Okay. So now they're aware of themselves. But it makes them feel funny to have their own motivations. So they covered their nudity because they didn't want to put themselves in a situation where they're tempted to have all these experiences that are devoid of God, that are all about themselves. And so they put blockers on those things which cause those urges. Okay. Yeah. So to experience something without God.
Yeah.
Okay. So then they heard the voice of God moving in the garden. The voice of God was moving in the garden. Okay? That's what it says. Vayishmeu et kol Hashem Elohim mithalech bagan. Right? They heard the voice of God moving in the garden. Okay? So leruach hayom, to the spirit of the day. Okay? It's translated as the breezy time of day, but there's way more to it than that. Vayit haba, and they hid Adam, the man, Ve'ishta and his wife, Mipnei Hashem, Elohim, from in front of God, okay, Betoch Eitz Hagan, in the midst of the trees of the garden, okay. So they sensed that something was a little off, okay.
Yeah.
This is something unfamiliar to them, okay, and they felt off, and they didn't really know necessarily how to react, okay? So, because they were now in Olam Asiyah, by the way. This is them in Olam Asiyah.
Yeah.
Okay? So they don't know how to be here. They don't know how to be here. So God realized that. So listen to this. He says, Vayikra Hashem, and he called out Hashem, God, Elohim, God, El Ha'adam, to the man, okay? Vayomer Lo, and he said to him, Ayeka.
Yeah.
He said, "Where are you?" Now, let's ask you a question. Is God an idiot?
Did you ever hear the song by Shuli Rand, Ayeka? I gotta send it to you.
I haven't heard it. Zayubis.
Thanks, man. I asked you if I heard a religious song. You told me to shut my...
Yeah, because
Shut the blank up.
Take us on another 7-hour
No,
tangent.
no.
I need 5 more minutes to be done with this.
Okay, Mr. Longwind.
I know, dude. I'm sorry. I can't. If I could figure out how to do it more efficiently, I would. I'm not.
Yeah.
The sound of my own voice, by the way, is not so great to me.
Yeah, I hear.
I hear Daffy Duck when I hear myself. Anyway, so yeah, I know. That's what I sound like. Anyway, so I gotta get my grill done, man. I won't have a lisp. Okay.
Cadillac grills. Anyway.
Yeah, my grill's messed up. All right, so God is saying to Adam, he goes, where are you? So God is not asking him because he doesn't know. God is asking Adam, do you realize where you are? Mm-hmm. Do you recognize that you're in a different place now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's interesting that he didn't ask Chava, he asked Adam, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Adam was having more difficulty understanding what was going on than Chava. That's possible. I'm not sure. I don't know if that could be just my own thought. Yeah. I don't think I heard that anywhere. Okay, so I'm not saying it's a good thought. Anyway, so Vayomer et Kolcha, and he said, Vayomer, and he said, et Kolcha, your voice, Shomati, I heard it, Bagan, in the garden. Voira, and I was intimidated by you. Ki, Aram, because I'm naked. Andochi, I'm sorry. Ve'e hove, and so I hid. So what is he saying? He's saying that I heard the sound of you. I heard your sound, that your voice. Okay, and it intimidated me, and that's strange. This is a new sensation. I'm not normally intimidated, and it's because I was more aware of myself than normal. Where usually I feel this connection to you, and all of a sudden it scares me, and in a certain way I'm now kind of addicted to myself, meaning to being aware of myself, and I'm scared of losing that. So when you were approaching, I felt myself being nullified again. Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't ready to let go of this new experience. So I hid. I tried to maintain this block between us. I thought maybe you were going to return it to the way it was before. And also I feel a little bit ashamed of that too. Okay, so that's part of what was happening. Okay, so and it's more than just my pee-pee's hanging out and I was embarrassed. That's how it's taught basically. Okay, so Vayomer, and he said, this is God, right? Mi hikid. Who was it that explained this lecho to you? Ki Aram, that you are naked, right? That you have all these other characteristics about yourself that you had not previously been aware of. Who explained? Who told you all this? Who informed you? Okay, Hamin from ha'etz, the tree, asher tziviticho, that I enjoined upon you, libilti, to leave it alone. Ahol, did you eat? Mimenu, from it. Okay, ochalto, did you that you basically that's a very kind of like Yoda way of saying, well, how do you know all this stuff? Who was explained? Did you eat from that tree I told you not to eat from? Right? Yeah. Did you eat from that tree I warned you about, that it was, that there's things that happen, right? So, Vayomer ha'adam, and Adam said, he said, Hoisha, the woman, asher notata, that you gave to me, imodi, to be with me, he, notna li, she gave it to me, min ha'etz, from the tree, va'ochel, and I ate, which basically means that this woman that you gave to me, and if you remember originally, God said, I'm going to give you a woman to be Ezer Kenegdo, right? To be an assistant to you, someone who helps you by being your opponent. That's what it says. Ezer Kenegdo. How would you translate that?
Helper against me.
Right, a helpmate against you. Okay,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of you know, understanding.
It sounds almost like a narcissist abusing you. I'm trying to help you, therefore I will F you.
No. Basically, it's helping you by challenging you.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
By keeping you in your out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Okay. So
by bringing me to the brink of divorce. Yeah, I know. I'm kidding.
Whatever it takes.
I'm just whatever it takes.
Right.
Whatever it takes to drastically change you against your will.
You have this person who challenges you constantly.
Yes.
Okay, a helpmate who is against you. Okay, but another way that it's explained in Chazal is that.
Can I ask you a question?
Basically,
can I ask you a question? All of these good people that I see in the frum world, especially Bali Tshuva, who are divorced, and primarily the reason they're divorced is because Dafka they had these. They got married, right, and they had these like petty. Usually, if you talk to them, you ask them why, they say, just stupid stuff, and petty arguments and whatever.
So here's what it means to be religious.
Does it make them bad people that they couldn't
it
withstand?
It doesn't make them bad people. Listen, it doesn't make them be bad people. Here's the issue.
Or lazy, or they didn't want to work on this, or they just quit.
I'm going to tell you. Listen, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
A lot of people become religious because they like the quaint lifestyle, okay? And they imagined it a certain way. They were sold a bill of goods that being religious is like being in a shtetl, in this kind of like picturesque little village somewhere in the hills of Ukraine or Poland or whatever, okay? Mm-hmm. And there's a simplistic kind of pure life, back to the old ways, okay? The problem is, that's not what God wants at this point in time.
How come nobody told us that? How come nobody fucking told us that? Pardon my language.
Okay, so exactly. Okay, so
back to the neck wringing. I go.
That's the problem. That's the problem. So basically, they're told,
Merlot,
go live this. Go live this. Hold on, go live this simplistic life. But what God wants is for us to live in the city and deal with all the crazy, annoying stuff. Okay, that nobody wants to deal with traffic, and with business people, and with forms, and with bureaucracy, and with rigmarole, and all this stuff that we all hate. But for some reason, God wants us to be in the midst of all that, and somehow elevate it and make it divine.
I mean, we don't have to be in New York. Nobody said you have to be in New York or some big city.
No, my point
I know what
is
you mean.
That God put you with Russians as a family. He didn't put you in a yeshivish family.
Yeah.
He put you first in Brooklyn and then in whatever, and then he puts you in Fairlawn, okay?
Yeah.
He kept me in Brooklyn. The point is that we were stuck in these environments not to run away from them.
For sure.
But to transform them.
Yeah.
That's what okay? So you can go and, so basically by not doing that, you're going against God's will. Okay? You want to create your own. So
what you're telling me is that my I don't want to say futile, but my forcible attempt by sheer brute force and strength in helping my family change their mentality about life and helping them to change the lens on their broken camera.
That's what you were put there for.
Yes, but it seems as though it's been very, very, I don't want to say completely futile, but it's been just.
You don't know what effect you were meant to have. If you even remember, we were talking about.
I feel like I'm fighting. You ever see that picture or video of a guy pushing a rock, a giant boulder up a mountain?
Yeah, sure.
And the thing just rolls down and just crushes him. That's what I feel like.
Right.
That's what I feel like.
Isn't that Prometheus by any chance?
Whatever. That's what I feel like.
Prometheus was punished by.
Yeah.
Hold on. So I just want to make sure I'm remembering my Greek mythology. Prometheus boulder. Let me see. Hold on.
Yeah.
You did this to me, Greg. You did this to me. I'm sorry. That's Sisyphus.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can I just say something real quick about what you mentioned about Adam and Chava? When I guess you mentioned they had intercourse, but it didn't feel like it was anything out of the out of the realm.
It wasn't the voice. It wasn't. It was a God experience.
Yeah, yeah. So what I want to say is, I always had this like, I guess even
before they got kicked out of the garden.
Even a long time ago, I always had kind of this desire for that, innate desire to have that with someone. And then it's funny actually when I became, I guess whatever, Shomer stuff, Shomer Shabbat, Shomer this, Shomer that. I was like, wow, so now maybe I'll get to have that. But but no, exactly. But in my derech hateva state that I was, or that I still am, you're talking about a guy in his mid-30s who's used to a certain MO, and I couldn't, kind of hold myself, and basically, even if it was a woman that I was like close with, and it wasn't just like casual stuff. I'm talking about somebody who I almost like married. I'm talking about other people who I dated in a serious way, had a actual like intellectual and spiritual connection with. But at the end of the day, stuff was done. And you know what the crazy part is? Every single time, before I thought it was something that I like wanted with this person, like on a physical level. And after every single time, every single person, I always felt awful. And then it took me like 3 go-arounds like of this song and dance to realize, Chazal had a point. It wasn't to control us. It wasn't to make us prudes. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. It was because they knew that we want to. They knew that innately we want to connect in a godly way. And so it took me all that song and dance, all those multiple song and dances, to realize that the best scenario, at least for me, is to wait until I'm married to somebody to even so much as touch them. If that makes any of that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense. They're like, it's kind of like
it's crazy.
It's remember my discotheque metaphor?
Yeah.
Where God created like this awesome club.
Yeah.
Right? And the club represents the world, right? And like, you got the cages for the dancers, right?
Yeah.
You got the turntables, you got the transparent floor, you got the bubble shooters, you got the light show, you got everything. It's off the hook. Multiple, like you got jacuzzis spread out throughout the place made of glass. Or no, you got ice jacuzzis where the jacuzzi itself is made of ice, but the water's hot. Yeah. Somehow it's this incredible experience. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's like an ice hotel club. Anyway.
Yeah.
So and it's off the hook, right?
Yeah.
And then God's like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And then he's like, yo, I want you to come and see this place before I put the finishing touches on it, right? And then we say to God, would you mind stepping outside for a moment? We just kind of wanted to take a look at this place. He goes, and he's like, but can I stay? Like, I want to see how much you guys, like, I want to know that, I want to see that you like it. You know what I mean? Like, can't I just, see that you enjoying it? Like, nah, would you mind just kind of like, we just need a little bit of room. Just go outside for a moment. Like, I can't stay in the club. No, just go outside. Okay. All right. And then like, he's out there for like 6,000 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. I don't think they're going to let me back in there.
Yeah.
And it feels a little weird, like I created that club to hang out with them, and they don't even want me in there. That feels a little weird. And then he's like, you know what? I'm screwed. I'm coming in. Okay, I made this place. Like, I don't have to stay out there. And I own that place.
Yeah.
Okay. So then he goes inside and he sees everybody. All the things are broken, right? He sees like the turntables are like. He sees people like spinning it with their fingers, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a bunch of monkeys, like, oh, look at it go round and round and round, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you idiots, that's not how you use it. You take you see that thing with the needle? You put the needle in the thing, and then the sound comes out. What the hell happened to the speakers? Where's the cable? And then he sees the women wearing like jewelry made from the cable. Ooh, look, shiny copper jewelry. Like, you idiots, that wasn't. You messed up the cables. Now, how are we going to hear the music? You know what I mean? Like, and on and on and on. Like, they screwed up. Nobody understands how they use the stuff in the club. They don't understand what it's for.
Yeah.
Okay? So what Chazal were trying to do was try to help people to have the real experience, whatever the experience there really is there to have, how to have it entirely.
Yeah.
The kind of sex that people have nowadays, with the way, with kind of like the hookup scene, is like spinning the, is like, not listening to the music. It's like, oh, look at the shiny black thing going round and round the record, right? Going round and round and round. And it's like, can you at least turn on the button? You don't have to push it with your finger. It'll go by itself. You don't have to use your finger. And they're like, and then they just kind of like, nah, you don't know what you're talking about, God. And they just keep doing it with the finger. Like, you idiots. That's not how it works. I didn't make it for that. So that's how everybody is doing things. They're using God's world, but they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So God's like, you don't know, like, so the Chazal are people who they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're like, this is how, if you want to really know what real sex is, here's how it's done.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I've never done it. I'm talking to myself. I'm not preaching.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to remind myself, and perhaps for 2 seconds in my life, at some point, I'll do the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to finish off that. That, by the way, you know that progress that you were talking about made with your family?
Yeah.
So you have no... Okay, remember I told you, like, there could be a Russian guy somewhere in Brighton, a Jewish guy, right?
Yeah.
Who, he grew up in Krasnodar, around Cossacks. He doesn't know anything Jewish.
Yeah.
Okay? So what's tshuva for that guy? For that guy, just the single thought for just a moment saying, I was kind of curious of what does it mean to be Jewish, and what is God? Just that thought alone, for that guy is a nuclear bomb of teshuva.
Yeah.
So you don't know what effect.
No.
You don't know the progress that you like. So listen.
No. To be honest with you, can I be honest with you? I really don't care if anybody becomes religious. I'm talking about attitude and mindset on life. You know that you could be secular and an atheist, but if you're
finished,
let
me finish. What I was trying to say was, even though, like, I have family members who they'll just fight me to the end. They'll just argue with me just for the sake of arguing with me.
Okay.
But I've heard them repeat my ideas to other people when I'm not there.
Yeah, no. The Russians do that. It's what they do. Same.
Right.
I've heard.
That's how I knew that I did make an impact.
Yeah, no, I know. I've experienced the same. Not only with religious ideas, but with also just. I've heard my mother say to my grandmother, for example, things that I've told my mother about just how to approach life.
Right. So you never know exactly what you like, the progress that you made. Like, that alone might be why God sent you there. And only God sees why that's so important to him.
Can I ask you?
You can't recognize it.
Can I ask you a question though? Why must they do this? Why must they fight us on the spot? But when they're not in front of us and speaking to other people, they praise us to high heaven to other people.
Why? Because fuck you, you little shit. That's why. Don't you understand?
Oh God.
Ты маленький цикун. Ты можешь мне что-то сказать? That's
or as my mother says, or as my mother likes to say, the what is it? The little.
Could you? Is there any way you can bleep that out by any chance?
What?
No? Okay.
No. The little. It's fine.
I didn't mean to do that.
It's fine. It's fine. We could pardon his language. The little the chicken, the little baby chicken is gonna teach the hen about life. That's what my mother says.
Right. Usually they'll say something like, I already shit out a long time ago what you're just learning about. You know?
Yeah.
So it's just, they don't like and by the way, according to Jewish law, right? If let's say if you're sitting with your father and the family, you're not allowed to contradict your father, and you're not allowed to teach your father something. You're not allowed to make that, to be so bold as to say, I'm going to teach you something that you don't know. That itself is an offense that's worth lashings.
One of the first things I heard when I first started learning Torah, somebody said because they were talking about, the whole dynamic of Baal Tshuva children and their secular parents and this whole, the battle whatever.
We're going to bring back the parents, right?
No. Meaning not bring. Now we're gonna bring back, but this whole thing of dealing with like a family that's against what your newfound whatever life, and so somebody said. I mean, a few rabbis have said this. That we know the Mashiach is coming when the children start teaching the parents. That's how we know Mashiach is close. When the
but
children.
That doesn't mean that the children can't. You still have to try to follow.
Of course, you have to respect.
Like for instance, I learn. Yeah. By the way, I'm learning Sefer Shmuel right now with my dad. Yeah. I'm not teaching it to him, even though I do relate to him things that I've learned. Yeah. That's different. Yeah. Okay. It's funny. We got to the point where Nachash, the king of Ammon, attacked Israel.
That's interesting. That's funny.
We just got there.
That's funny.
That can't be a coincidence.
Yeah.
Okay. Nachash was the name of an Ammonite king who attacked Israel during the times of the prophet Samuel. Okay. Yeah. So I just want to say that. So now I'm going to wrap it up, okay? I'm going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Nice and tight. Yeah. Okay. So basically, so God was saying, who told you who told you this much about yourself? Right? Who told you this much? Did you eat from that tree I told you not to eat from? Right? So, is that how you found out all the stuff about yourself that you didn't know before?
Yeah.
So basically, he said, well, it was actually the woman, so that you gave me to be with me, right? To be my counselor. Okay.
Yeah.
She gave it to me. She explained it to me. Okay. And so I ate it. She told me that you want us to do this, that you want us to come to this and experience this level of existence and to fix it for you because this is where you want to be. And that you didn't want to come out and tell us to do it ourselves. You wanted to give us the choice and because it's dangerous and painful here and it's going to be a lot of bad stuff that's going to happen, but ultimately it's going to be for the good. Right? That's what she told me. So that's what Adam said to God, right? And then she said, so Vayomer Hashem, Elohim, Leisha, to the woman. And then he said, so Ma Zot Osita. So what is this that you have done? Right?
Yeah.
Vatomer, and she explained again what Adam had told God. She reiterated it, saying, "Yeah, I mean that is the conclusion that I came to." Okay, and this is ultimately I did this because I felt that you needed us to do this. I mean, you put us right next to it. Okay, and we know about the world of Asiya, right? You put us right next to. You brought us to the window to look into Asiya. Right, and we understood that you need that place fixed and rectified. We understood how important it is to you, and we also see that really there's no one else. Everybody down there who's there now, they're obviously not measuring up. They're not doing the job that needs to be done. So you want us to go there.
Yeah.
Why would you have showed us that otherwise?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's so basically what he says. Ma zot asif. God is saying, why did you do this? What is your motivation? How did you come to make this decision? That's what God asked her. Okay? And so what does she say? She said, Vatomer Haisha, and she said, the woman said, Hanachash, the snake, she ani, which is interesting. Okay? It's translated as he duped me.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Hold on. But it's not so simple. Okay, it's this. Well, here actually it comes from the word nasha, means to beguile. Okay, or to deceive, which is obviously related. Okay, It also means utterly as an infinitive. Okay, but another definition is it means to lend on interest or usury. Right, to be a creditor.
Yeah.
Okay, or to act as a creditor.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's more. But wait, there's more. Hang on. I have a special dictionary. is very special.
Yeah.
Did I mention that this dictionary is special?
Yes.
All right. So it's called the Etymological Dictionary of Biblical Hebrew. Okay.
Interesting.
Now we're gonna look up quickly. We're gonna look up the root. Okay, of this word. Okay. So just a moment. Okay. Just a moment. And I'll be right with you. Okay. Stop yelling at me. I feel it. Okay. So he. Okay. So she. Let's see. So that's Shin Yud Aleph. It could be Shin Vav Aleph as the root. Okay, a second. Shin Vav Aleph. Shin Vav Aleph. Okay. Lack value and content. Okay. Lacking content, being in vain. Okay. Vanity. Okay. Let's see where this is used. Okay. Being in vain. Okay. This might not be what we're looking for. Okay, let's see. Shu, level. No. Shu, lack value. Okay, 1 second. Okay, now let's look at nasa. That's another way. Actually, nasha. Sorry. Should have started there. This is learning. Learning, sometimes you gotta do the work. You gotta look inside. Just every now and then, you know.
Just FYI, man, we're coming up on like 4 hours.
It's not like this. It's not like we have a live audience. We could break this up into like a billion pieces.
I hear.
We have a lot of quality content here. Look at it like that.
I know.
Okay, so here we go. Nasha, the primary, it means to deceive. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how it's primarily used. Okay, it also means exacting a claim. Okay.
Yeah.
Financial debt. Okay. So let's see. There's another one here that says nasa. Okay, but nun shin aleph means to deceive. Okay, but nun sin aleph. Okay, which is the same letters. Okay, it means to raise or to lift and remove.
Yeah.
Okay, lifting, searching, taking, carrying, counting, forgiving, appointing, sustaining, longing, okay, taking what is due, being preeminent, swearing, taking a wife, considering a burden, a cloud, beacon, plague, raise. So imagine just for a moment that the root of this word, he, she, ani, he duped me, right? Okay, can be also understood as rooted in the idea of lifting up, lifting and removing. So it could be understood that the snake lifted and removed me. He elevated me. He raised me. He raised me up. Okay, so ve'ochel, and I ate.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he turns Vayomer Hashem Elokim El Hanachash. Then he turns to the snake, and he doesn't ask him any questions. He says, "Ki osita, because you did this, zot." Okay, arur, it's translated as cursed. Okay, atah, you will be. Okay, mikol habehema, from all of the field animals. So let's look at the word arur really quickly. Okay. Arur, I found it. Okay, arur is, it says to isolate and bring ruin, or to weaken internally. It's translated as cursed, but the primary definition is isolate. Okay, so he says so here's the fundamental definition of this statement. Vayomer Hashem Elokim El Hanachash. Ki osita, because you did zot this. Arur, isolated, ato are you. Mikol habehema. That means you are separated, as you have a different status now from the other creatures.
Yeah.
Umikol hayat, and from all the life. hasodeh, in the field. Al gehoncha, on your belly, telech, you shall go about, you shall walk. Okay?
Yeah.
The afar, and the dust, tohal, you shall eat. Kol yemei hayecha. Okay? So you shall consume the dust. But hold on your belly, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Let's see. Quick. All right, I'm going fast now. I feel the heat. Feel the heat. Who sang that song? Is that Frank Stallone?
Feel the heat. Yeah, that's from. Is it? I don't know, but it's from Rocky.
It feels like something. Yeah, it's like.
It's from Rocky. It's from Rocky. Yeah.
Could be Frank Stallone.
Yeah.
I feel it, Frank. Okay. Is it? Gehon. Oh, okay. So it's guch. Guch. 1 second.
I still can't believe that Peter Dajak blocked me from his Twitter. It's
okay, I found it.
I word it as a badge of honor.
We're not going to Dajak now.
I know. We're not going to the dark side, Dajak side.
So listen. So guch, gehon, right? It's translated as belly, right? But it comes from the word guch, and it means it's usually most commonly used to as a crawl, right? Like what a snake does, kind of, right? But actually, its more fundamental definition: move with difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Remember that we learned elsewhere that Nachash was Adam's assistant and transportation system. To use a modern metaphor, the Nachash was like the luck dragon from Never-Ending Story.
Yeah. Huh.
You could think of it like that, okay?
Yeah.
And the luck dragon had no problems moving about.
Yeah.
Okay. But now, it says, because you did this, you will be isolated from the other creatures instead of cursed.
Yeah.
It's isolated.
Yeah.
Okay? And from all the life
Yeah.
in the field. The field is, by the way, the Olam Asiya. And parts of Yetzirah, by the way, too. Yeah. But that's something else. Al Gihoncha, with difficulty. You'll have difficulty, okay?
Yeah. Hello? Hello? The heck? Hello? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Are you calling through the computer or something? Or how are you calling me?
Calling through the computer, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because my phone died and it's not going to turn on for like another few minutes.
Gotcha.
So, okay, so the last thing you heard was move with difficulty?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, so when it said, God said to the snake, he said, on, one second. It says, Vayomer Hashem Elohim la Nachash, El Nachash, the Nachash, to the snake. Ki osita, because you did this, so this, arur, difficult, you will be isolated. Arur means isolation. It's translated as curse, but it means you'll be isolated.
Yeah.
Mikol habehema, from all the field animals, umikol hayat, and from all the wild, the non-hooved animals. Okay, hasode of the field, which is partly in the spiritual realm. So there's spiritual level. Al gihon ko. Now that's translated as belly, but it comes from the word guch, from the root guch, gimel vav het. What it means is to move with difficulty. Okay, to have trouble, to be slightly encumbered when movement. Okay, did you hear the thing about the luck dragon?
Yeah.
Okay, so that part you heard. Okay, right. So he's gonna have more trouble moving around than he did before. Before he had no issues whatsoever getting anywhere in the universe that he needed to get.
Yeah.
Okay. The alfar, and alfar means earthy substance. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the alfar and earth being covered with an earthy substance. That's actually what it means here. It says, says that here in the dictionary. It's to be covered with an earthy substance or to be earthy. Of the earth, it means. Alfar means of the earth. It doesn't mean dust. Okay? So it says, the alfar and earthy substances, tochel, you shall eat. Kol you may. That doesn't mean you're going to eat dirt. Okay? Kol you may all the days chayecha of your life. Okay? So that's the first quote-unquote curse. Really what that is God saying, because you did this, right? Because you created the situation, all of you are now living and existing. You're being expressed in the world of Asiya. Here's what it's like being in this world. Yeah. I'm teaching you what the experience is here. It's not like something special that I'm creating for you as a punishment. This is what life is like here. Yeah. Okay? Vayomer Hashem, and he said, El Hanachash. He kept saying to the Nachash, Ki asita zot arur. Okay, so okay. One second. The Ava, he's still talking to the Nachash. Yeah. And there will be like a enmity or sheet that I will place beincha, between you, uvein ha'isha, and the woman. Okay, there's the way it's going to be here in this world is that it's not going to be easy for you guys to communicate here. There's going to be things separating you from even liking each other. She's not gonna want to be in your presence. Okay? Beincha, between you, uvein ha'isha, and the woman, uvein zaracha, and her descendants, uvein zaroch, and yours. Okay? Zaracha and your descendants, uvein zaracha, and hers, that meaning people. Hu yeshuvcha. Okay? So we can't go through every word because you're right, we have been at this for a long time.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And use the dictionary to really understand what these words mean. Yeah. Okay? But what's happening here is he's not telling them that this is how I'm going to kick your ass for breaking what I said that you shouldn't do. Okay? Because you went against me, this is how I'm going to torture you. That's not what's going on here. He's just telling them that based on the result of what you got, the decision you guys made, now you are here. Yeah. Here's what it's going to be like for you. Because this is how this world is. Okay? This is how it's going to function. Yeah. Okay? And to the woman he said, okay, I'm not going to go through it all, but the point is that God wasn't saying these things in anger, and he wasn't asking Adam and Chava, how the hell did you come to this? Yeah. He wanted to know he wanted them to explain to see whether or not they understood themselves the decision process that took place. He wanted to know, did they make a coherent decision? Yeah. That's why he was asking him. And he wanted this recorded in the Torah so that to show that they did this knowingly, they did this on purpose, and they did this for God's sake. So the question is, did they go against God's will or didn't they? They did. So were they supposed to end up here? Did God want them to do this? Yes, they did. Yes, he did. Is there another way that they could have gone about doing this? Like they wanted to fix this world. That's why they made the choice to eat from the tree, right? Yeah. Okay. Is there another way to go about doing this? That's the mistake that they made. Okay? They could have asked God, we know what you want. You want us to go down there, okay? You want us to go down there and to fix that world. How can we do that? You told us not to eat from the tree. That seems to be the only way to get down there. Okay? I want to go down there. Yeah. I really want to go down there. I want to go fix that world, and I'm familiar with the dangers and all that kind of crap that's going down there. I get it. Okay? Yeah. You don't want to. So how do I get there without eating from the tree? So God, now this is my speculation from this point. Everything I told you, actually, I heard from the teachers. Okay,
Yeah.
but here's the thing. Here's my speculation. God might have been like, "Oh wait, you guys actually want to willingly go down there? I wasn't going to send you there, but I need the work done. I'm not going to put you in that situation. I'm not going to force you. But if you want to go down there, okay, I'll put you down there."
Yeah.
It could have gone. Maybe it could have gone like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think. So the question is, well, why didn't she think of that?
Yeah.
Did she think that he would never? Maybe she thought that God. Well, perhaps it would be very difficult for you to let go of us and to let us go down there to do this. And so I don't know. I mean, the point is that there should have been an open discussion.
Yeah.
But actually, on the other hand, maybe she was worried that had she tried to discuss it with him, he would definitely, not allow it to happen. So maybe she thought this is the only way, to kind of go behind his back to do something for God.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what happened to those angels, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Came down there, like in the sons of God, when they came down to earth and they saw the daughters of man.
Yeah.
God told them, you guys are not going to make it down there. It was a little bit different, but it's a similar idea. And then they said, God will show you that we can go. And they went. Yeah. God allowed it to happen, just like he allowed this Adam and Chava thing to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's something there that we're not seeing, that I'm still not seeing. I don't understand how they could have done what they were supposed to do in an alternative fashion. There must have been an alternative option that they didn't see. Okay? So they screwed up. They made a mistake. Okay? They did what God wanted. Yeah. They just didn't go about doing it the right way.
Yeah.
It could have gone smoother. Maybe that's the root of what this really means.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh my God, dude, are you serious? It's been.
Here's the last thing. Oh, but my Whoopi Goldberg thing is 30 seconds. It's connected to what we said yesterday.
I know your 30 seconds.
No, dude, you've already ruined my 30. It could have actually been 30 seconds. Just let it happen.
Okay, I'm listening.
So Whoopi Goldberg is saying that it was a white people killing white people, so it wasn't a race thing. But in reality, it was a race thing, because even if, the race thing was the motivation. Even though there's no such thing as race, you're never going to find anywhere in Torah that has God describing the different nations of the world as separate races. They're nation of races. Okay? Yeah. You have races of beings, you got races of angels, but you don't got races of people.
Yeah.
Okay? But the Germans, they created a false reality where they made themselves into a separate race, and they looked at Jews as an inferior race.
Well, it came from the mythology of Valkyrie and all that kind of stuff. That the Norse, that's where they came. That they came from a different realm.
Yeah. They elevated themselves. They Ubermensch.
It's almost like Thor and the humans.
Yeah, they were Asgardians. They weren't regular humans, and all of us were ruining them. We were ruining their. Yeah. We were bumming them out with our inferiority.
And also with our morality and conscience.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Our conscience, all that kind of stuff. They should stop. We should stop inflicting them, these superior beings, with our conscience and with our circumcisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, they invented this illusion of race. So their motivation was racism.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's exactly what the militant left black identity politic people like Whoopi Goldberg are doing now. Yeah. Okay? They're making everything, they are separating themselves.
Yeah.
They're making everything a race issue, just like the Germans did.
Yeah.
Okay? In reality, Whoopi, we're not a different race.
Yeah.
Your color doesn't make you a different race.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all human beings, and you're making it. You're doing the same thing the Germans did. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Nice. I had my own spiel on it, but you know, where I say that Whoopi, without realizing it, is sort of in a different way. I guess she's sort of right that she's saying it was. How should I put this? She's saying it wasn't. No, she's saying it wasn't about race. That's what she said. She said it wasn't about race. And meaning another aspect of the Nazis was the thing that they did in terms of it was really about ideology. It was about ideas. You know, Hitler used to say, you know, I'm just paraphrasing, it's either us or the Jews. The German and the Jew, something like, cannot coexist in the same world.
Because the truth is, we were the biggest threat to their illusion of being superior.
Of course. But not only illusion to being superior, but also just threat to their lens on how life should be.
Yeah, we were the threat to their Tower of Babel, that they wanted to create this bubble of isolation.
Yeah.
They weren't subject to gods, anything.
1,000-year Reich, whatever the heck that means.
Right. Jews, they understood that the Jews, no matter what, whether or not they themselves are conscious of it, are always going to represent God.
Yeah.
God's providence is always going to flow through them. It's in one way or another.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I guess they figure they cannot kill us spiritually. I mean, they could, but they wanted to just wipe us out physically. But, yeah, I mean, without realizing that she's sort of, I mean, obviously for not the reason that she thinks, sort of right. But I don't know. I don't think she should be That's the thing. Like all this censorship. It's just the whole thing. This whole thing is just so like. It's just Soviet. It's Soviet. You know, like Jen Psaki today came out and said. First of all, she did something illegal, which is basically the government telling a private company what to do. Spotify, you know, more can be done about Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I know, bro. I mean, listen, all standards, everything, all pretense of democracy and all this kind of stuff has gone out the window. Nobody, you know what I mean? Like, they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
Yeah. It's just like, and everybody's wondering, and everybody's wondering, like, what exactly, these people are running around like misinformation. What exactly can they point to one? It's like you always say, you know, like, they can't point to one person who has died from any advice. They can't point to anything that's actually like they cannot enumerate what exactly was the misinformation part. It's a 3-hour show, let's say. Any given show is 3 hours long, just like ours. You would have to sit there and go through the entire thing and parse it out and you know, unravel the pretzel, like you say, to point out, and they don't do that. It's just I don't know. I just don't understand. It'd be one thing if they did that and they had some argument and they said, this is like this and he said like that and this is incorrect and this and that. Okay, then we can actually have a discussion. Are you right? Are you wrong? Who's right? Who's wrong? Okay. But there is none of that. There's none of it. There's just like a Soviet, this is this, and shut up. No, I don't get it, man. I mean, is this like the culmination of this, you know, what is it, Bezmenov said? It's just a culmination of demoralization for the past 30 years, and this is where we are.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing... yeah. I don't know, but to, you know, so all these people are jokingly running around saying that Roseanne Barr should replace her. And The View. Dude, she would shut that show down.
I don't know why anybody thinks that's a good idea. How could Roseanne sustain any show in this environment?
Seriously.
Roseanne, the next time Roseanne is going to be number one is after Mashiach comes.
Exactly.
Which is hopefully really soon, by the way.
Exactly. Dude, Roseanne actually, when she revived her show, she actually tried to build bridges between these different groups of people. There was like a character, like a little boy who was like, you know, experimenting, the grandson, with dressing like a girl. Not saying that that's good, but she was basically showing that there's a whole family that has diverse characters in it, diverse members of the family, and they're all trying to somehow coexist. And the powers that be ultimately could not have that. You can't have you can't have what?
For division.
What?
That goes against their plan.
I
Right now
know.
it's all about
Yeah, God forbid you have a conservative person. Anyway, yo, listen, man, I'm getting a phone call, and so
I got you. You got someone more important to talk to.
no, but it's whatever. The Soviet thing's happening again.
Well, that's Wallish. All right, man.
Yeah. All right, sir.
All right, bro.
This is gonna be a doozy.
It's gonna be dude. We're producing content that can be split up, or for anybody that wants to listen to it full, they're welcome to.
Yeah.
So no reason to worry about it.
Yeah. All right, sir. I gotta get off the phone. Sorry about that.
Take care.
Okay. Later.